Atomic gigantification was a sweeping Japan nation when along came a dude with an ultra attitude, a common rider who's the greatest kicker of Japan. And of all, man, life's too short now, baby, to not talk big now, baby.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see if this works. If you tuned in last time, we had some issues with the audio, and we're going to see if they work out. I'm currently making sure everything's working. It says that my audio is coming through, so that's always a good sign. But here in a second, we are going to officially get going. I just want to make sure that we're doing good and we're running just fine, but it is looking pretty good. Let me turn down this a little bit so we don't have the background noise too loud. And before we get started, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Kaiju Conversation Live. I'm your host, Elijah, and we are here once again for a Kaiju News special. This should be the last time that we are doing this. As a little bit of cleanup, I will establish what we're doing here exactly. So Kaiju Conversation, prior to this year, was a little behind on recordings. We recorded about 6 or 7 episodes without the release closely after. We just released our first one, episode 118, The Space Fighter from 2022, and that will continue on through this month, and then it will return again in the coming months. So that is something that will continue to occur. So as those months happen, as these situations where enough news comes in that it's worth just doing a live stream about instead of doing a typical episode breakdown, we are going to continue doing that. So, without further ado, we are going to introduce the first of 2 guests. One's not really a guest, but our first guest on this live stream. We have the host and curator, the author, the podcaster, the man of many talents, Mr. Nathan J.S. Marchand.
Oh, we're getting everything in there. All you were missing was telling everybody what JS stood for, and no, it's not Johann Sebastian.
I mean, it's close enough, Nathan.
It is close enough. But hello, everybody. I'm back, baby.
This is your first time back since the stream last time?
I think you had, didn't you? I think you had me on a live stream once before, and I've only been on one episode of your show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in the pre-Rex era, and it was for King Kong 33.
It was the pre-Rex era. I think that was like one of the episodes right before he came on.
Right.
So,
and I don't know about you, Elijah, but if anybody is wondering what's he doing wearing the beanie, I don't know about, like I said, Elijah, I don't know about you, but here in Indiana, it's frigid. So I thought I would dress appropriately, and I got my hot cocoa here with the most appropriate of mugs.
I want to say it's about 55 in this room right now. So it's a little cold. We're supposed to get snow tonight.
We're getting it tomorrow.
It went from like 5 to 9 inches to 3 to 5, and they've been pushing it back. So the odds of it actually happening, I think, are slim to none. Mm-hmm. Or at least not nearly to that extent.
Right. Do you get a lot of snow in the winter where you're at?
So normally at this point, it's like negatives. It's snow everywhere. It's horrible. But this year, like, we had 40-degree weather yesterday. And so we're just now getting to like what actually is our typical January weather. So we're a couple weeks late.
Yeah. The thing about Indiana weather, the joke around here is that if you don't like it, wait 5 minutes. I think our local Mother Nature is constantly going on and off of her meds. She is extremely bipolar. And so it'll be 50 degrees, almost, practically jacket weather one day. Next day, it's snowing. I mean, there have been years where we had our first snow, not kidding you, on Halloween.
Really?
Yeah. Now, it's not a lot and it doesn't accumulate, but there are flakes and they are falling.
The weirdest snow I recall is when we had snow in May. It was like
that's insane.
It was like the last week of school for me, and it snowed, and we had a snow day that we had to make up. It was wild. So I'm pretty acclimated to crazy weather.
Yeah. Well, this is a funny Marchand family lore story. So there was one year we had when all of us were all me and all my siblings were still kids. There was one year we had not just a little snow, we had a ton of snow on Easter Day.
Oh, wow.
So my mom gets the video camera out and records is like, oh my gosh, look, we have snow on Easter. And you can hear my little brother Jared in the background. He's maybe, I don't know, 5 years old. And he's running around saying, it's Christmas. I'm like, well, now we need to complete the circle. And if we have an unusually warm day on Christmas, he needs to run around and say, it's Easter.
Real quickly, do you have a couple people in the chat? Cool Kid Chase, FHFF. I don't speak the lingo, unfortunately. And we got Helmy.
You don't speak your own lingo? What?
We got Helmy in the house. What up, Helmy?
See, hey, guys. That actually reminds me, we had at some point I should release it. I don't know if you remember this, Elijah, but I remember one time before you were on the Monster Island Film Vault, we had I just had my soundbar going to record, and we had an entire conversation about generational slang. And we were looking it up and see what slang terms are associated with which generations.
That sounds right. I think I do remember that. That was many moons ago.
It was. It feels so long ago. And the crazy thing, this is what really gets to me, is I did for the Film Vault for Halloween. I do this thing where it's styled like it's called the Kaiju Crypt, and it's styled like a horror anthology TV show, like a Tales from the Crypt or something. Has a host and introduces a short story, and then somebody comes on and reads the short story. So it's like a little audiobook. And I usually try to find a story that's either connected to a movie I've covered on the podcast or would be like at least kaiju adjacent. The first time I did it, it was The Voice in the Night, which in one form or another inspired Matango. So there was supposed to be this character who came in and just bothered the host, and I wanted him to be like a super obnoxious like kid who just did nothing but speak in like Gen Z and Gen Alpha slang. So I'm looking up all of these slang terms and what they mean and how, so I can inject them into the script. And that was when I discovered 6'7". Put it in the script as like a one-off joke. Yeah, exactly. And then I swear, as soon as that episode released, I was hearing it everywhere and I hated it.
So at my job, I had to ask a couple people what it means. And I got the whole story. They started off by saying like, well, nobody really knows what it means.
It means nothing.
But it has a background. And I got
it has a background, but it means nothing.
Yeah. It's one of those things, I guess you just say, which I don't ever recall thinking when I was younger, I'm going to say this just to say it. Like it was like when you respond, you have to respond with something, not BS.
Yeah, this is why a lot of the new slang that's been cropping up in the last like 5 years or so, as pretentious as this sounds, I reject it because I can't stand that it means nothing. Like the point is that it's pointless. It's like that's postmodern, that's nihilism. I'm not having any of it. You can keep it because I don't want it.
We got another comment in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What is about? So this episode, also, I failed to mention this earlier, but this episode will also be going live on the podcast feed. So we will keep our visuals to a minimum, just because once it hits the feed, it will be a visualless episode. Yeah. But this episode will be tackling a handful of the major news that occurred over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks. I want to say it was about 5 weeks. It's been about 5 weeks since Kaiju Conversation Live special Kaiju News 1 happened. So
that was what, right before Christmas, or at least
right, it was like
a week before Christmas.
Yes, and so
that's right, because I couldn't join the chat because I was on a family trip that weekend.
So that's what we're going to be doing here, which, by the way, welcome, Kieran. I failed to say welcome, but thank you all for joining. One thing I did want to actually bring up that's not in our little slideshow for like just some sort of visuals while we talk was recently, as in today, there was an announcement. And Nathan, I feel like this is something you really want to talk about. So I wanted to take this time to let you talk about it. And that is a recent piece of news. And the only reason I like relate it to you is every G-Fest, you bring games to play on Sunday night instead of going to the after party.
Yeah, for the wholesome after party, because the real after party feels borders a little too much on cult initiation.
Fair enough. So I'm going to let you have the floor for a little bit. Go ahead and talk about it.
Now I am really, really wishing I had brought my copy of the game over. I should have thought of this earlier. But to my absolute shock, although not really shock, not King Kong, Godzilla is coming to King of Tokyo, a tabletop game. What is King of Tokyo, you might be asking? Basically, it's Godzilla but Yahtzee, or Yahtzee but Godzilla, with a little bit of King of the Hill thrown in there. Like the game that if you might have played when you were a kid on the playground, where it's like you got a little mound or something, and somebody goes up to the top and says, "Haha, I'm the king of the mountain." You gotta push him off so you can be king of the mountain. And you keep going. Well, this is a little board game. Long and short of it, you have a board, and then there are 2 spots on the board. One is a city, and one is is like an ocean, and you want to put your little monster standee on there, and as long as you're there, you get points. And once you get so many points, you win the game. Now, there are other ways to get points, but that's the big way to do it. That's why it's King of Tokyo. It's King of the Mountain. And you roll dice to see how everything works and all of that. Like I said, look up some tutorials on the game. It's pretty fun. And this game's been around for, I think, just over a decade now, I think. And now they just announced today that they have acquired Godzilla. I'm assuming they're announcing a collab. I'm assuming that means Godzilla will be a playable character in this game, which is interesting because King Kong is in the game. I have that figure, not figure, but I have that character. It's a little standee. Except, I think, for what I was told, they're claiming the novelization.
Mm-hmm. That would
so that way they can have King Kong but not have to pay a licensing fee, because this is being produced by Yellow, and so they're growing obviously, but they aren't like a mega sized corporation like a lot of other like big name board game companies. So they're relatively small. So I think that's how they got around it. Now, Godzilla's not their first licensed character. If I remember correctly, I think they have one other one, but they were just it was like, I think it was a content creator or something, and they just made her a giant and gave her a katana. I didn't even know who she was, but I know she's a licensed character in the game. But now it looks like they're getting Godzilla. That's all this 30-second trailer told us, was that they're collabing with Godzilla. Now, that's interesting because when you look at the game, what's weird about the game is that there's two versions of it. There's the original version, and then they did a 5th anniversary version, but for some odd reason, they redid the game, redid the art and everything, but they got rid of one character and replaced it with another, and I don't know why. Thankfully, I have both versions, so I have both of those characters. But if you look at them, they're clearly analogs for existing kaiju, so that way they didn't have to license them. There is a Godzilla analog, a pastiche, in the game. His name is Gigazor. A big lizard monster.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have swore there's also something called like a blackout version.
Yes, that one I don't have yet.
What do you know what that's about at all?
Like I said, I don't have that particular expansion yet. So I don't know what to tell you with that one. I have both versions of King of Tokyo. I have King. Do I have King of New York? I think yes, I do have King of New York, which was basically a sequel. And you do play that one a bit differently. And the more recently, because of course I had to get this one. It's called King of Monster Island. Naturally. So, and that one I haven't played that one yet. For what I've been told, that one's actually a co-op game. And each one of them comes with new characters and all that. Before they had King Kong, they actually had a King Kong analog called The King. It was this big gorilla, but he had a little cybernetic implant on the side of his head. So that was their way of making it a little more interesting, because it's hard to do anything new and interesting with a giant gorilla, in terms of design. Because we all know what a gorilla looks like, and it's hard to mess around with that.
Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, the way that Universal was able to trademark King Kong for 2005's Peter Jackson film is actually the scarring, like the scar on his chest and the broken tooth, and the way his jaw set. That was their argument for how they could copyright the character and trademark it and make it so it was not technically too close to just a typical silverback gorilla.
Yeah, even though out of all the Kong designs, that is very much the most realistic looking one.
Now, something I do want to bring up. So I just checked it. So the Dark Edition, that's what it's called. It's a reprint of the first one with all the original characters, new artwork, and introduces the new Wickedness gameplay mechanic.
See, that one I haven't tried yet. Yeah, because what's interesting is when the game first launched, you just kind of picked whichever monster you thought looked the coolest and used that. There wasn't anything all that unique about it. You did have cards that you could draw from and you could get power-ups. The first time I ever played the game, I actually won thanks to one of these power-up cards. It's hilariously named. You can tell that the creators of this game not only love kaiju, but they also love old American B movies. Because there's a lot of vernacular that's kind of thrown in there. And the way I won, and naturally I used Gigazor, was I had a card in my hand that was called "It Has a Child," which once my hit points hit 0, I could play that card and I could put my monster back out with all of my stats and everything reset. So because of that, I had more health than everybody and was able to win. So I joked that it's like, "Ha! I am son of Gigazor." But if you want, I can do a screen share here really quick. I have a picture of the game, and at least the cover of this is the second edition of the game. So if anyone would actually like to see what it looks like, so there you go. That is King of Tokyo.
Okay. So for anybody who's
actually, this will show you the pieces and stuff too. Look at that. That is Mecha Dragon. I wonder who inspired him. And then you can't see it very well because it's out of focus, but that's Gigazor back there. And I think this was the monster that they introduced over here on the left. This was the monster I think they introduced for this edition of the game. I think it's, what is it? I'm trying to remember if it's Cyber Kitty or Cyber Bunny. I think those are the ones. Yeah, I think that was the one they swapped out. Is this the Japanese edition? That would be hilarious.
Tokyo.
Oh, here's Cyber Kitty, and then they had a penguin, and that's the king, and an alien. Gigazor here at the top.
So it's really exciting to see.
I mean, this is the original edition because this character went away.
Yes, the Kraken, which was inspired partially by Cthulhu, a little bit.
Yeah, these are the dice and these cubes that you can use to keep track of how many power-up points that you have. Oh, this is one of the characters from the These are characters from the expansions. Pandaka and Mantis. Wow, what an original name. So they go, oh yeah, here's Cyber Kitty.
It's really, I mean, it's no surprise that Toho.
Oh, this is the two different artwork styles too.
The one on the left is definitely more Godzilla than the other one.
Yeah, this was the first edition artwork.
But it's no shock that Toho is working on licensing Godzilla for some of this stuff, but it's really cool that, you know, King of Tokyo gets to actually have its hand with the license. That's something I don't think many people were expecting from this recent like interest from Toho to license the character to what is essentially more so like fan homages. So that's really nice to see that like King of Tokyo and some of these other like their original projects, but they have a spice of that. I want to have Godzilla, but we can't afford him.
Yeah. It's same thing with the video game Gigabash, which launched with an entire roster of original characters, but they keep grabbing all of these licensed kaiju and characters to the point where it's basically the Smash Brothers of the kaiju genre at this point. They're making the impossible happen. There is a video game out there, people, an official video game that has a crossover between Ultraman and Gamera. This is absolutely insane, and it's possible to have them in the same shot. So it's not like City Shrouded in Shadow, the PS4 game, which was only in Japan, although I have a copy now. Thank you, John LeMay. Where they're all in it, but the way they got around making those licensing fees even more insane is they're not in the same levels together, but they're all in the game. With Gigabash, you can have them all in a match, in a game. You could go on there and have a 4-way brawl between like Gamera, Godzilla, and Ultraman, and then throw in somebody else if you want. You know, it's nuts.
Real quick, I got to give a shout out to He's Passed, Mr. Grattan Conwell himself, the composer of the music you're hearing in the background. Nathan is wearing a cap for the occasion of the cold front that has hit North America. And then
this is actually a Christmas gift that I got.
And then Grattan also says the guy who made Gigabash had no idea about Godzilla when he made the video game. It was just a huge coincidence. And the wonderful thing about Grattan is I don't know if that's a hundy, like legit.
I don't either.
Or if that's one of his amazing quirks. But I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, sometimes stranger things have happened. So we are getting to about 25 minutes into the live stream version. So I think it's about time that we go ahead and transition into our main event. And that is the fact that we talk big news.
So, Elijah, in this scenario, which of us is Mechagodzilla and which of us is Godzilla?
Well, I would be wearing a tie, and it looks like Mechagodzilla is. I can't tell if Godzilla is. So, I I think that's gonna be my pick. As I'll be Mecha Godzilla.
Alrighty, I'm cool with that.
Grattan also says Nathan rocking the Rode Procaster
Procaster,
Deluxe
yeah.
Guitar Center Edition.
Yeah, I have been I love Rode microphones. I have been using this microphone since about, I want to say 2016, 2017. So this thing's been going strong for a decade. I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna be upgrading my mic eventually. No more Blue Yeti.
Yeah, you make a good point, Mr. Conwell. I am older than Elijah.
Nathan said Nathan would be Godzilla because he's older. 20 years older. 21. Oh my God. 21 year 20? 20 years older.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Close enough. Anyway.
But we are going to be tackling some of the big news that has come out of the last couple of weeks. And here before too long, I believe we are going to be getting somebody involved who will love the first thing we're going to talk about. Now, the way we're going to get him to appear, I have a suspicion that if we say a special phrase 3 times, he could potentially...
Beetlejuice? What?
Close. Less syllables. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide, and we're going to see if we can make him appear. And that... Oh, sorry. I forgot about this. We're going to start with something else. But it is the Netflix Mount Brothers controversy. I figured we wouldn't talk too much about this, but since the Monsterverse has its distribution through the studio distribution service on physical media, which is where their DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks come from. Warner distributes theatrically, all except for China and Japan. And then Warner also has Max, which holds the Criterion Channel stuff and the Monsterverse stuff. It was at least important to notate that right now there is a kind of bidding war, kind of sad example of corporate politics.
It is. You know what? I don't know if it'll come through on the stream. Pardon the theatrics. Grandmaster activated.
Oh boy.
I hate everything about this. My quick hot take. I don't want Netflix to win this because I think Netflix wants to destroy cinema, because the two best ways, I don't care what anyone says, to enjoy movies, namely theaters and physical media, Netflix hates them both, which is kind of ironic considering Netflix started as a DVD by mail rental service. So I don't, and if you dig into what their philosophies are when it comes to the stuff that they themselves produce, it's extremely low quality. They're just assuming everybody who watches their stuff, it's a second screen viewing, so everything has to be hyper telegraphed. It has to be dumbed down. I hate everything about it. So no. Now, Paramount admittedly is, I think, is the better of the two, but it's like the lesser of two evils at this point. So I would prefer Paramount, but honestly, I don't even know why Warner Brothers is up for sale anyway. So
it's because of
I'd rather neither of them win.
It's because of the mismanagement of David
Zaslav.
Yeah, because since he took the company, since the Discovery merger, it's just been a disaster in terms of Max and the theatrical releases and television and all that. So Warner Brothers has just been in a state of dismay for years. And so that's why we're getting their selling. You know, this is something that's been happening for quite some time. It's actually really ironic because once the Disney Fox merger started, it kind of felt like a huge shift in all of this really occurred, because after the Fox merger, we had the merger of Warner Brothers and Discovery, or originally it was Warner Brothers and AT&T. And then it was Warner and AT&T, and then it was AT&T sold the Warner Brothers part of the company to Discovery, And in all of that, there's been rumors of Sony selling to Apple, and Sony is yet to sell. Probably
It's
because they have the money. Just
yeah,
for
this whole thing is absolutely insane. It's been an entire saga. First off, I remember the news being that's like, oh, Warner Brothers is for sale, and there's all of these interested parties. Netflix was one of them. People were not expecting Netflix to be the one who came out on top. And then, shock of all shocks, Netflix is the one who comes out on top. And then, even more shock of all shocks, Paramount said, no, screw you, hostile bid. Not only will we buy Warner Brothers, and their like their content in their studio, we're gonna buy everything, and we're gonna pay cash. Can Netflix say that?
And
then it turned into this ridiculous bidding war where, because they're trying to go, it's a hostile bid, so they're going directly to the shareholders, and trying to sweeten the deal and all of that. And you've got people who, like me, are like, I don't want. I am to the point now where I hate Netflix so much that even though I've been a subscriber for a decade, I honestly, I think after this month I'm going to cancel, because I don't want to give this monster any more of my money unless I want to. And they've got to earn that. I'm not just going to sit there and, let them debit my bank account anymore. But at the same, but then you have people on the other side who don't like the guy running Paramount. His name escapes me, unfortunately, right now. They don't like him for political reasons because he has connections to the current Trump administration. And I'm just like, I can't handle this anymore. And people are also complaining because Paramount has connections to Saudi Arabia, which they think might cause a conflict of interest and all of that. It's like a whole to do. And it's kind of like the original AVP movie, where the best thing about it was the tagline, whoever wins, we lose.
I like the original AVP movie, but I mean, I don't, it's such a hot topic that I don't necessarily know if it's best to dive too deep into it.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I mean, did you have anything else you really wanted to comment here, or did you?
That's in terms of just like a quick overview. That's the gist of it. We could, if we wanted to, and that would have to be an entire an entire live stream unto itself if we really wanted to get into the nitty gritty and minutia of this. Yeah, but that's not what we're here to do. But that's basically the gist of it. If I have to pick one or the other, it's Paramount. I just don't want Netflix to win at this point. Netflix has pissed me off too much at this point.
I will say I do agree with the whole factoid of like Netflix is going to just like, if Netflix does get Warner, they're going to shorten their theatrical window. They are going to make it more
17 days. They're claiming they won't, but Netflix has a track record of saying one thing and doing another.
Yeah. Everything about, and they have a track record of everything they have said on record for theatrical has been, we're trying to get rid of physical media and we're trying to get rid of the theatrical experience. So it's like, even though they do say like, oh, we're going to preserve that, it's like, no, you're going to shorten that, and I'm going to have to rush to go see Godzilla Kong 5
Supernova and a half -5.
So it's like, I'm not like rushing for Netflix to be the owners. I agree it's the better of two evils for Paramount, but I would rather just Paramount have it. It would be better for theatrical chains. It would be better for the physical media. They would just probably form a new deal with Universal, and all of Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Universal would be through studio distribution service, which would probably be very beneficial. All of that probably would probably be really beneficial and really support the physical media chain of entertainment.
Yeah, well, and what makes it a little bit confusing, at least on the physical media front, is it's Warner Brothers has been striking deals with some boutique labels to release some of their stuff. Not long after this whole debacle got started, they announced a deal with like, oh, how many was it? I think it was a lot of titles, like I want to say 30, could be wrong. They announced a deal with Vinegar Syndrome where they were going to be giving Vinegar Syndrome some of their more obscure titles for them to release. Also, not long after that, because Warner Brothers has had a standing deal with Arrow Video. They just literally, I think, like within a week or two of this, Arrow released a absolutely pristine 4K of The Mask, the Jim Carrey movie, and right on Christmas to boot, I might add, Arrow puts out a little teaser, a la like what they did with the Ninja Turtles release, which is an absolutely wonderful 4K set, by the way. Love it to death. They put out another little teaser trailer announcing that they were going to release the 1995 Mortal Kombat. Which has me excited, I have to admit, because that's arguably the best video game movie. Fight me on it. But so it's just weird that this is all going down. At the moment, it's looking like Netflix is winning, but Warner Brothers is still cutting all these deals. I was to the point where I was thinking to myself, am I just going to have to start gobbling up if Netflix does win this, do I need to start gobbling up as many Warner titles on physical as I can? Because they may end up disappearing. All of the, the DC Comics stuff, the, Mortal Kombat, and I did not realize how many movies I like that are Warner titles until this came out. It's absolutely insane. The MonsterVerse films. I mean, like, there's a lot of things. Like, it's not just the Looney Tunes and DC Comics. Like, they have so much under their umbrella. So many cinematic classics that unless you want to start paying Netflix $50 a month, which, because they're going into so much debt over this, they're going to have to raise their subscription prices. There's no way.
Grattan has a great point. Netflix sometimes plays nice with Criterion physical releases, which is usually anything that gets nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
or like
the Irishman, awards. I know, was one. And
Roma's another one. Uncut Gem. No, Uncut Gems was not a Netflix movie.
That did get a physical release. I know that. I know you love that movie. That's something, like, if we ever hang out together, I think we may have to watch that together, because you speak very highly of it.
It's very good.
And I'm willing to trust you over a lot of other people.
It's a very good movie. Now, I guess it's still really early on. There's always the possibility of antitrust laws coming in and cutting it, especially with the concern of jobs, because of the concern over the theatrical chains, the physical media, and just the downsizing that Netflix might do with Warner Brothers. And so we'll just kind of wait and see what happens. That being said, I do think it is time to start our wonderful Kaiju news segment, beginning with Garo that has been caught in 4K. Garo Taiga 4K announced. Now, I believe that we can get somebody on this stream if we say the word Garo 3 times subsequently, loud and proud. So, Nathan, you have the energy of somebody who can do that. Do you want to do the honors of trying to summon somebody who on this show talks about Garo and might be drawn to this if we say his name or the Garo name 3 times subsequently?
You got it. Just give me a countdown. All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Garo! Garo! Garo!
Oh my God, he did appear.
I'm like Beetlejuice.
I already made that joke.
Oh, you did? Oh, unbelievable.
You're not gonna, but hopefully you're not gonna take me to some unholy hellscape with giant
You never
worms.
know. You never know.
Now,
never
before
know
we
what can
move
happen.
forward, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host and editor.
Hello, I am Rex. Probably should wave this side, I'm realizing.
But well, you are in Australia, like the water goes down the drain in the opposite direction, so you got to wave with the other hand.
Yeah, exactly. The camera's like mirrored because it's all upside down. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It's amazing.
Exactly.
I had to fiddle with the camera to make sure you guys weren't seeing me upside down.
Oh, that is impressive. That is impressive.
By default, it's set to upside down, so it's like.
Oh. Now, see, this is exciting for me because other than I think I appeared on like an all night for like a few minutes. I think I jumped in for a few minutes during an all night Godzilla Day live stream that you guys did.
Oh,
but this, unless you count that, this is my first time podcasting with Rex.
Oh, I guess that would be true.
Yeah, I'm a.
Oh, hi, Helmy.
We got the Australian duo here, so Helmy wanted to wish you a good morning.
Got that Australia rep. Let's go.
This is a international co-production of.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm assuming.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm assuming that just because Rex is this is cool like this, that's how Elijah got his deal with Umbrella. Because I'm like, wait a minute here.
It was all me, guys. It was all me. That's how I got it.
Australian boutique label, Rex, Australian guy, co-host for Elijah.
Yeah, let's just assume that's true. Let's go with that. I like this.
Let's assume that I didn't call him after I got the message and say, "You want to hear something extraordinarily?"
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I think Nathan's story is what actually happened.
I mean, and just to show what a great guy you are, Rex, you were contacting Umbrella to help your friend as opposed to being like, hey, can I make you some special features? Can I make you a movie for you to release? They're like, no. Let me help my friend Elijah.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, he was my post-production editor for that commentary. So he technically...
This is very true. I remember that 1 a.m. phone call.
It was not 1 a.m.
It was.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The only time you two talk to each other, unless it's a G-Fest, is at 1 a.m.
It was 1 a.m. for you. It was 7 a.m.
It was a 1 a.m. call. It was a 1 a.m. call. I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. the next morning so that I could work on a big assessment and then go to another shoot after 8 hours of working on that. Crazy day. Diabolical.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if not for Elijah working on this, I don't know if I would buy that edition of Uzumaki. I guess I'm going to have to buy that edition of Uzumaki.
Oh boy.
It'll be worth trust.
Yeah, as soon as he actually listens to all of it. He just did the cleaning up of some of the audio.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. My longest script for a commentary, I'll say that. It was very long.
Really?
I had to cut like 5.
Is it the longest movie you've commentated?
Yes.
That would make sense then.
Sharkdemic was 60 minutes. Ninja Monsters 55. Brushes 74.
Yuzo's an hour and a half.
Maybe Yuzo. Yuzo might be longer.
No, Yuzo is 88 minutes.
Okay.
I just watched it last night. So.
And Uzumaki is 90. So
okay,
yes.
There you go. Not by a lot. So it's not by a lot, but there you go.
But that's besides the point. Now, Rex, I'm going to let you talk about this. Let me just give the rundown of the Garo Tiger. Okay. Now, I don't think we've established really much of anything with this. So Media Blasters announced that they had acquired the Garo license following Section 23 in Kraken Releasing's venture with Garo, Beast of the Demon Knight, Garo Red Requiem, and Garo Makai Senki, and along with Kiba Dark Knight Side Story. And then Funimation, now known as Crunchyroll, also acquired Garo the Animation, Garo Crimson Moon, and Garo Vanishing Line. Media Blasters now has announced that they have the rights to Garo Red Requiem, Kiba Dark Knight Side Story, Garo and the Wailing Dragon, Garo Under the Moonbow, Garo Taiga, and another Garo movie. I don't recall which one it was. Maybe it is just those. But they announced that back in October, and it sounds like you were about to tell me which one they had also licensed.
So what you just said 5 movies there, right? Because all of that they've licensed is the stuff from the Koga, Koga continuity. Which Red Requiem, Wailing Dragon, Kiba movie.
Under the Moonbow and Taiga.
Under the Moonbow and Taiga, yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
I had a brain fart there.
And then
morning.
on January 9th of 2026, Media Blasters announced the limited edition Blu-ray and 4K Elite editions, limited to 1,000 each, of Garo Taiga. For the UHD 4K edition, the Mega Bundle includes the slipcover, exclusive supplementary materials, including an audio commentary track, newly produced video content, and a printed booklet produced by Matt Burkett of Monstrosities, and the Common Writer Dyad and Common Writer... oh God, what did they call the trilogy? Was it just trilogy?
I think it was just Elite Collection.
Elite Collection.
Yeah.
The previous Media Blaster releases. And a folded poster. The Blu-ray will also be available as a mega bundle and a standalone Blu-ray in a slipcase with printed booklets as well, and a folded poster, according to how John put it on X. We will have HDR, but unsure about Dolby Vision. It's a Q1 2026 release date, and Media Blasters also alluded to the possibility of releasing the original Garo based on the sales of Taiga. Now,
Is in the show?
The show, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because this was going to be my question to the two of you, because, or at least to Rex, speaking as a Garo virgin, should I buy this?
Yes, to support Garo. But in seriousness, this Media Blaster thing, I've been a little concerned knowing that they've only at the moment licensed the Koga movies, because a lot of that kind of relies on you having seen at least the original Garo, because that's the original protagonist. But in Garo Taiga's case, I think Taiga, I'm really glad they're releasing Taiga first, because, well, not only is that the newest film in the series, so I really want to see it, the fact of the matter is Taiga is a prequel. It's a prequel to the original series based on the protagonist, based on the father of the protagonist, Koga.
Okay, because I was trying to understand where this falls into, because unfortunately the previous Garo releases are long out of print, and one is basically impossible to find unless you're Elijah Thomas and you sleep with the right people or something. I don't know, but it was Sentai Filmworks released those? Yeah.
Sentai Filmworks was the parent company for Section 23, which was the
23,
parent
that's what it
company
was, yeah.
of Kraken Releasing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I have been curious about Garo. I've heard about it for a long time. I've seen clips of it. It's Keita Memia. That's another big reason why I liked it. And Garo,
it's a beautiful show.
Yeah. I was just, from what I've seen of it, it is. It's just one of those things. It seems like Garo has kind of become a distant fourth tokusatsu henshin franchise in Japan behind the three heavy hitters, Rider, Ultraman, and Sentai. But it's more difficult than it should be to get it. And I'm like, and again, I was when I saw this, I'm like, okay, we're gonna release the movies, but what about the shows and wouldn't you need to see
Right.
the shows? And like, it is so
Right.
confusing because I don't understand why Media Blasters didn't just gun for the show, unless it's just they want to do a movie first because it's less work, less of an investment.
Right. Yeah, I remember being a little confused with the selection of movies, specifically with like the Moonbow movie in particular, because that movie is a sequel show or a sequel movie, sorry, to the to one of like the third or fourth show in that original continuity, because that show is focused on Kolka's son Ryger, who was the protagonist of the movie. So it was like kind of bizarre to me when they announced that they'd licensed that, and it's like, oh, are they gonna license the show it's based on? You know what I mean?
It
The
sounds. Oh, go ahead, Nathan.
I was just gonna the impression I'm getting is that it seems like the audience because these movies had never been released before, correct? So because Sentai Filmworks didn't have them.
Only Red Requiem and Kiba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but my point being, especially with this one, because this is the first time that it's been released stateside, it almost seems like Media Blasters is just assuming that the existing audience who have those Sentai Filmworks releases are gonna go. That's who this is for, and not necessarily someone like me who's new to this franchise.
Right. I mean, that's kind of why I'm glad they're starting with the Tiger movie specifically, because at least with this one, I again haven't seen it, but I presume if there's out of the movies they've chosen, this could hopefully be the best starting point. From what they've chosen, like the Kiba side story movie, if they released that one first, I'd be like, ooh, why are we releasing a side story set in between like 2 episodes near the end of the original series? Like if they were doing that one first or something, I'd be like, ooh. And I've already brought up Moonbow. And it's like Wailing Dragon, one of the other movies they're releasing, is like the conclusion to Garo Makai Senki, the second show and the last release that Kraken put out.
It's definitely interesting to see how they're approaching it. It's almost like they're trying to see if those remaining copies out there for the previous Garo titles, if those can hold the interest, because you have to bear in mind they're kind of jumping into this assuming that there is an established fan base in the West, which there kind of is, but it's still very underground. To my
it's really small. Like I said, even in Japan, Garo is a distant fourth to the other big heavy hitter franchise.
Oh, absolutely. Garo has never been. Garo is a midnight show. It's never quite stood alongside Sentai, Rider, or Ultraman in terms of ratings.
The audiences in Japan are different. This is definitely meant for adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of like in Western countries, obviously for America, all that you guys have had are those Section 23 releases, and only recently on the Garo, relatively recently on the Garo YouTube channel, have they been simulcasting the original show as well as the most recent show up until next week.
Yeah, although if I remember correctly, because I've looked into that because I was initially kind of excited about it, but it's similar to what Toei did on their YouTube channel, which is they'll give you the first 2 episodes of each of the shows, but unlike Toei, you can watch the rest of it, but you have to become a channel member.
No, I've actually been yesterday. Actually, I was rewatching some Garo to show it to a friend of mine who was interested in it. And so we watched the first 2 episodes on the YouTube channel, and initially I couldn't find the rest, but later on it did get recommended to me from that official channel that they do have all 25 episodes of the original Garo up there, with English subtitles and whatnot for free, as well as the most recent show Hagane o Tsugumono.
Wow.
I remember when they did, like, when they first released the 05 show, they were doing that, and then they left up only the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
But it was like last year they were airing it again on the YouTube channel as well as Haganeo, and they've left those uploads up. So
okay, well, now that I know that, perhaps I should watch at least some of it, because that will probably help me make a decision about whether or not to jump at this release.
Absolutely.
Because reasons. I don't know if we want to get into that or not.
You should definitely watch the 05 show. It's a great show. I love it.
So it looks like 0 Dragon Bloods on there, and then
what? Huh?
You were saying words.
So I'm on.
I know what 0 Dragon Blood is, but
yeah, episode 1 and 2.
Oh, those are episode titles.
The
I'm
YouTube
like,
channel.
I was like,
I thought you were saying Media Blasters.
Oh,
like,
no. No, and so is Goldstorm, it looks like.
Yeah, those might not have subtitles. I'm not entirely sure.
Goldstorm did not.
Yeah.
Are these episodes or
yes.
they show? Okay.
Vanishing Line, Goldstorm
is both a show and movie.
Yeah. So it looks like most, if not all, Garo is streaming on YouTube, but most of it's not subtitled.
Yeah, they do that for the Japanese audience. Yeah.
You would think they would region lock it then, but okay.
I'm sure if they're licensed by Media Blasters, they will have to region lock it.
Well, no, I mean the YouTube channel, because I know Subaraya actually did that for a while, because they were uploading Gridman, the original Gridman, onto their channel there for a while. They even had it subbed. And then I think probably because they were just recycling the Toku HD subs, and I'm guessing they probably got some complaints about it. They just stopped making those uploads viewable outside of Japan.
I bet it was the license instead, because the thing is, if Media Blasters license those, there's probably a clause in the contract that states that the official accounts can't make them free to public outside of the region, or in the region that they're licensed to. So if, say, Media Blasters licensed the original Garo, those YouTube uploads would probably go to unavailable in... They'd probably be available in Australia, but they wouldn't be available in America. And that's how they would handle stuff like that.
That makes sense.
So, Rex, is there anything else we really should look into or consider about the Garo Taiga release?
I mean, there's not too much to it. It is like the most I can really say that I don't think I've said already is that it is a 20th anniversary film, but because like I haven't seen the movie and I haven't really been watching trailers because I like to go in mostly spoiler free, I can't say I know too much about it, in all honesty.
I do know that this is the 4K premiere of anything Garo, period.
Yeah.
And that we're getting the release in America before it's even released in Japan.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
That is insane, but
it's also $70 for the 4K.
I was gonna say, can we talk about
that one?
Can we talk
that
about
one
the
is
Kaiju
brutal.
in the room? Because the 4K is $60, the Blu-ray is $40. That is a big barrier to entry for me.
Yeah,
I'm not normally one to blind buy movies, unless, I think I'm going to talk about it on the podcast or something. That's one of the few exceptions that I will make, and I've made a lot of those exceptions. But I'm like, really? Going in blind on $60 for one movie on one 4K? That's a lot. That's about the same price. Just to put this into perspective, that's about the same price as the Kamen Rider Elite Collection, but I got 3 movies.
It's also important to note that Media Blasters recently released Fudo, the next generation, which was a Takashi Miike movie on 4K with the poster and a slipcover, and I want to say it was $40.
There's that
Bruh.
too.
Yeah. Personally, I can't afford to spend the money on a 4K because not only is that almost $100 in my currency compared to like the $40 in my currency for a normal 4K, I have to account for shipping costs.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And-
can't do that.
So the wild thing is the way that Media Blasters does international shipping, because they're not supposed to, is they will. I only know this because I've seen it in the comments and John has talked about it. He'll say put in a fake address, and then put in like message us directly and give us the number, and then when we're ready to ship, we contact you and we will send it to the right address. I mean, the only thing I could think of for you, Rex, is like if you ordered it and had it shipped to my house, and then picked it up whenever you come over. But even then, like your point is still there. Like
What you do, Elijah, is you buy it. He comes back to G-Fest and you give it to him at G-Fest. I'm incentivizing you to come back to G-Fest, sir.
Yes.
Now, real quick, Helmy, I was so pissed. I imported the previous release of Uzumaki, and a month later, Umbrella announces a box set.
That happens more often than you would think. Because I have a similar story when it's Hiroyuki Tanaka, who played Shang Tsung in the original Mortal Kombat. He died at the beginning of December, and I realized I only owned a digital copy of Mortal Kombat that's stashed on my PS3. So I'm like, screw it, I'm getting it on disc. So I bought the studio release Blu-ray set that came with, purely because it was the best deal. It came with Mortal Kombat the sequel, and the officially licensed web series called Legacy. I got it for like $15. Like, that's cool. A couple weeks later, the 4K gets announced.
Helmy, real quick, Helmy said, I also do that with Media Blasters titles. I have them shipped to my friend in Texas and pick it up at G-Fest.
There you
Valid.
go.
See? It's possible. I mean, you could do that with quite literally anything in the States, I guess you wanted. You'll just text me, hey, there's a package that's going to show up with my name on it.
Yeah, but all of that to say, I will admit, if I'm going to pull the trigger on this, as cool as a 4K would be, I'm leaning toward the Blu-ray.
That's reasonable.
I will probably get the 4K, but it'll be similar to the Dyad set where I think my Dyad number is 993.
Oh my god.
So it's like I was one of the last people to.
Bro was playing it real last minute.
Wow.
So I think I'm gonna do that again with Taiga. Grattan quickly also mentioned, are you guys going to talk about the new Zelda characters in Animal Crossing? It's Kaiju News, trust me. We are not.
Oh, hell yeah.
But we are going to talk about
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. It's the Space Sheriff.
One of them.
The third and final trailer was released for Gavin Infinity. We got to look at a couple new aspects of the show, along with a handful of new promotional images. We got a synopsis and a cast, so if you will indulge me for probably a minute or two. This is a roughly translated hodgepodge of all the cast and synopsis info that I could locate. In the age of cosmic symbiosis, set on multiverse Earth A0073, members of the Galactic Federation Police crack down on alien crimes that exploit the newly discovered energy life form Imology. After passing rigorous trials, Gavin Infinity, also known as Doki Reiji, is the only one allowed to call himself Space Sheriff Gavin. The Galactic Federation Police is also based in a different dimension from Gavin's Infinity universe known as Multiverse Lambada 8018, where another Gavin is active. Set in a universe called Multiverse I-5109, which is different from both the Infinity and Bushido universes, the golden combat suit of Gavan Luminous is coated with the image of Iwai Kiki of the Galactic Federation Police's Criminal Investigation Division. Your cast includes Nagata Kohei as Gavan Infinity, also known as Doki Reiji, Matsunaga Arihiro as Colonel Date Daisuke, a researcher of a multiverse known as the Cosmolayer, a being on another Earth that is identical to Reiji's Earth. Arisaka Kohana as Agi, an autonomous AI supporter created by the Colonel and the heroine of the series. Yasuda Hiroto as Wanibuchi Rikia, an elite member of the Galaxy Federation Police's first investigation division, who is constantly involved with the three. Wanibuchi also has a partner, Patlon, an alien investigator who the two of them together call Wanipato. This elite duo is also worth keeping an eye on, according to the press release. Akahane Ryuga as Setsuna Aikokuni, the commander of the Special Forces of the Public Order Maintenance Headquarters, whose silver combat suit is coated with Gavan Bushido's silver. Ana Iriyama as Amuo Rui, Setsuna's boss and head of the Public Safety Headquarters. Sumi Kokona as Yoshiteru Iwaikiki. Tanida Rana as Takanari Kotobuki, Luminous's partner investigator. Oh boy, there's so much here. Yoshiteru and Kotobuki have been best friends since high school, making for a tumultuous but friendly duo who call each other Kiki and Koto. Kawasumi Ayako as the narrator and voices of the Imogia characters. Seki Toshihiko as system voice for the Gambarian Trigger and Galactic Federation's police spaceship, the Cosmo Gambarion. He is hinted to have a larger role, and of all of the cast, he is the only one to really have any other cast or any other roles that are important to note. He did various voices in the ALF Japanese dub. He was a part of the Japanese dub for Jaws.
Of course, Elijah would mention that.
I would. The Ring, the English film. He is the voice of Momotaros and Den-O in Kamen Rider. He did the dub for Garm Wars, The Last Druid, and he is Asuka's father in the original Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Wow.
Oh, geez.
The biggest thing to note, at least in my eyes, from the trailer was there is a giant robot. So maybe Kaiju. And then there was a handful of toy news. The only ones I'm going to bring up is the Mini Pala model kits for Gavin's gun called Gavilan Trigger, Gambarion Saber, which is a sword, Cosmo Gavalion CGR, which is the giant robot's name, Gavilan Drill, Gavilan Crane, and the Shokugan Emo Gear 01. There's plenty more, but these shows are made to sell toys, so I figured going any further would be a little overkill.
Yeah.
So, who here has seen at least Gavon or any other metal heroes? Nathan?
Yeah.
Just Nathan?
I've watched like 3 episodes of Metal Duh, and that's my entire experience with metal heroes.
I own Gavon and Just Beyond. So, Nathan, we're going to start with you about your thoughts on the synopsis, the cast, and the handful of other pieces of news. Perhaps any thoughts you have for the trailer.
Yeah. The new trailer was definitely the most eye-opening out of all of them. The other two were definitely going for some serious cool factors just to show off the visuals, the suits, and everything. But the third trailer actually showed us some of the things that we've been seeing in the news, And it also kind of confirmed a little bit of a suspicion that I had, which is this is the love child of Metal Heroes and Super Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It most definitely is, because we have not only, we don't just have one Gavin, we have three, one of whom is a woman, which is interesting. That's the golden one. People were suspicious that was a woman for a while, and then the new trailer came out and made it abundantly clear that Gavin is a woman. What I'm a little, all of that stuff that you just read that is one heck of a lore dump, I have to say. I didn't realize this was going to be a multiverse story. That is kind of nuts right there. So I'm still processing that. What I'm still trying to figure out is, I think you even mentioned this in one of the group chats we're in, Elijah, that this is part of Project Red. This is basically the replacement. Project Red is basically the replacement for Super Sentai at the moment for various reasons that we've all been going over in one form or another. But this is not considered a revival of Metal Heroes, even though they are most definitely pulling from Metal Heroes for this. Specifically Gavin, who was the first Metal Hero and seemingly the most popular.
Yeah, this was Rex and I were also talking about this. I think it's on one of the episodes. I don't remember, but the fact that they chose Gavon is really interesting because Gavon is not red. I believe he is blue.
He's not. I've
silver.
Watched. Yeah, he is silver. I have the Discotheque release of Gavin. I watched the first episode. I've sampled some of the other shows. Grew up watching VR Troopers and a little bit of Beetleborg, so I have some exposure to Metal Heroes. And interestingly, there is a Power Rangers version of Gavin named Captain Chaku, who appeared in Power Rangers Beast Morphers, because the Sentai they were using for that show had a crossover with Gavin, so they adapted him.
Was that Shin Kenger?
No, Go Busters.
No.
Go Buster. Okay. So what's really interesting is the fact they picked Gavon when they have characters like Shider. Just Beyond's also got that red hue. Like there was other Metal Heroes they could have picked from.
Right, but Gavin's also the one with some name recognition.
Serious name recognition.
Recognizability.
The B Fighter? The B Fighters are all different colors. If Beetleborgs, because they had a green one, a blue one, and a red one in the first season. And then they changed them later. I think they're like gold, silver, and I want to say red. Could be wrong on that.
Ironic.
Yeah. But they're going with Gavin, like I said, probably because of the name recognition and it's something. There's probably a bit of a play to nostalgia with this, because they're hoping that people who grew up watching Gavin back in the 80s will come back for this show or introduce their kids to it. I can see what they're doing there. I will admit I was secretly hoping that what this was going to be, and unfortunately I don't think it's going to be this. I was hoping it was going to be the resurrection of Metal Heroes, because that franchise has been gone for all intents and purposes for minimum 25 years at this point. Because depending on who you talk to, it ended with B Fighter Kabuto, or it ended with those two kiddie shows.
Right. I mean, Gavon also had a crossover movie with Shin Kaiju, I believe. And then
there have been several Metal Hero movies and crossovers. But that's been it.
Yeah.
Well, specifically the Space Sheriffs. It's Shider, Gavin, and Cherevin.
Yeah. So, I mean, regardless, I think the big thing here is Project Red is kind of, in a way, it's going to be the Red Ranger. It's supposed to be like the red character, the lead character. So they're going to do that. I think we haven't discussed this, but there's been a couple of news press conferences where they've established that each show is going to be it's a standalone, but it's open to crossover. And I think they're establishing that here with the multiverse.
Yeah,
so they don't have to be like, oh, here comes Gavon in my new Red
Yeah.
Shadow series.
Yeah. It's the same approach that I think at least with I think starting in new gen heroes, that what Super Rai has been doing with Ultraman, where
Mhm.
they have a multiverse, but the multiverse really only exists so they can do crossovers. They don't use it for much of anything usually besides that. That way, each of
Right.
their Ultra series can stand alone, but they can have the other Ultra characters show up if need be.
Yeah. Different worlds with new world views each year or each season, if you want to say.
Mhm. Yeah, and there are even some Ultra media that I've seen where the characters will talk about is like, oh, this Ultra is having problems on this Earth. Well, I guess I better go help him, you know, or
Mm.
something like that. And honestly, I like that. It keeps things from getting way too muddy. Looking at you, MCU, post Endgame, because that's one of the major dangers of doing a multiverse.
Right.
It's an interesting concept, but it can really muddy waters and it can be used incredibly cheaply.
Right. Yeah. Very, very glad the multiverse thus far has only barely touched Godzilla in like one or two comics. Very
Was it?
glad.
It's just been the end of Mighty Morphin, hasn't
Power
it?
Rangers one, I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Now, before I hand this over to Rex, really to talk more about his feelings on everything, something I thought of while we were talking is the fact that there is a giant robot in this, Gavilan CGR, CG-R.
Which I believe is the ship here, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
the ship
Because
turns-
one of the cool things about Gavin, even in the original show, is his spaceship could turn into a dragon mech.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not complaining about that.
Now, historically speaking, Metal Heroes has only had one real connection to Kaiju, and that's Megabeast Investigator Just Beyond.
Mhm.
But I do wonder. In my head, the joke I have is like maybe they'll get the license to Spider-Man and do a Spider-Man project.
Oh my gosh, how insane! Like Japanese Spider-Man suddenly shows up in this. That'd be insane.
But
The world is not ready for that. The internet is not ready for the ambassador from hell making his grand return.
But my thought process went to Spider-Man had Kaiju, and
Mhm.
that was kind of the entryway for Super Sentai to implement Kaiju. I wonder if Project Red, because my big concern is with the death of Super Sentai. For all intents and purposes, Toei's Kaiju output is reduced to zero. They have the Red Shadow TV show going on right now, but once that's done, like it's not doing well. They're not going to do another one. So they're not going to continue on with Kaiju Entertainment, but perhaps with Gavon, they will bring Kaiju into it, and each series somehow might still implement the Kaiju genre, which is nice to know because with Subaraya even like not doing an Omega movie, that does make me a little concerned on what will happen with Kaiju output over the next couple of years because it's been going so strong recently.
Yeah, my copium for the lack of an Omega movie is they're saving budget for the 60th anniversary series because they just want to go balls to the wall crazy.
True, most and likely. They have the Zero movie next year. There might be another event movie coming soon, and then maybe they'll do a TV or a movie to the next show. So there is a lot still coming from, and plus New Generation stars and whatever else they do. But Rex, I want to hand this over to you now because you have a little bit on the Kaiju stuff, but more so than that, I do just want to hear your overall thoughts on the recent news and just everything in general, since you're a little more acquainted with Kamen Rider and more modern Toei than I am.
Right. Yeah, well, just to get like the Kaiju stuff out of the way, there's not much to it beyond like, yeah, it has been very heavily rumored for a while that Kaiju will be in the show. Since obviously this is Sentai's replacement, I think these recent trailers have really... I've kind of been a little surprised by these recent trailers by how similar it really is to Sentai. I was almost expecting, especially earlier on when this was first announced, I was expecting it to step away a little more from that Sentai formula and really only really be keeping that a Red Ranger is the focus. But yeah, it looks like it really is just more or less Sentai, except they've just downscaled the team a bit and presumably downscaling the budgets in other ways. Not entirely certain, but I did notice there obviously it almost feels like Ultraman in this trailer. Like it almost feels like Ultraman, like Decker or Trigger, with this being mostly set on like a spaceship, where similar to like the whatever the defense team in Decker and Trigger were. I don't remember.
Guts? Or am I
think so.
Or am I thinking of
like,
Tiga and Dinah?
Yeah, well, it was based on Guts anyways. It's based on Guts anyways.
Is it
So
Scar?
No,
I think it's
that was
Guts or
Blazar.
something. I don't know.
Scarred was Blazar.
Right. It doesn't really matter. The point still stands. Yeah. I don't know. I'm curiously optimistic about this. I've watched a fair bit of Kamen Rider, but I'm not too big into Sentai. I've only seen like 1.5 shows. I think the thing for me with Sentai is it's a bit harder for me to get into Sentai because sometimes Sentai is just... I'm not against watching like kids shows, but Sentai gets a little too childish for me.
Depends on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. But the modern Sentai shows I had seen were just a little too childish for me.
Right.
And so with Gavin, when it was announced, they stated that they wanted to search for more of a general audience and include a bit more older audiences with this project. That seemingly suggests that maybe this will be a little more to my taste, hopefully. Obviously, it's still as toyetic as a modern big free tokusho.
Yeah, well, I
is forced to be.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Toei goes way harder into that than Tsuburaya does.
That was the only way Sentai made money was toys.
And all that Power Ranger money.
Yeah.
Which dried up. You know, we won't get into that because I've got some very potent opinions about that. Congratulations, Hasbro. You killed not one, but 2 franchises.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Now, does anybody have anything else they wanted to talk about here?
I want to know if they're going to simulcast this.
I think it's almost guaranteed. Like,
I wish they would make some sort of an announcement about it, as I think, if I'm reading this date correctly, does this mean the show's already started, or is it starting next month? What's going on?
That was for, I think, this trailer or like announcement.
Yeah.
It's it's an announcement. I was trying to remember. I thought it started next month because, near as I can tell, Toei's experiment with Kamen Rider Zets, or Zest, how you're supposed to say it, which I have been keeping up with. I do live streams for my other podcast, Engine Power V3. We do live reactions to it. I've been doing that almost every week since the show started. And it seems to be working. It took Toei a long time to figure out that, hey, maybe we should do what Tsuburaya does, because there's a market over here, and we kind of need this market now, because it looks like Zest was designed from the ground up to be simulcast.
So there's something about that real quick. I'm going to interject, Nathan. The idea of simulcasting, I started with Kamen Rider, and the reason it did and not Sentai is because of that Power Rangers license.
Right.
They can't bring Sentai over because of that.
Right.
Until that contract is no longer valid, which they would have to cancel Sentai for years before that contract.
Crazy, like next to Saban just buying Power Rangers for a third time. the most bonkers thing I can think of besides that would be Toei buying Power Rangers just so they can nullify all of those agreements.
I mean, there was, I guess we can talk about this here since it doesn't really, I didn't make a slideshow for or anything for this, but there's been a lot of recent suggestions to say that 20th Century Studios, Hasbro Entertainment, and Disney Plus are working together on a brand new Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's looking more and more subtly anyway, like it's actually going to happen. Honestly, I'll believe it when we get much more concrete news. And even then, I'll be like, show me a trailer before I'm going to care and actually think it's going to happen. You know, I need a trailer before I'm going to call up my friend Michael Hamilton and say, like, we need to do a Power Trip reunion. Okay. You know, that's another podcast I did. So
I feel like, so I was recently told a piece of info I can't say, but it was about a new Power Rangers show. And I don't know if it was like this person told me and didn't realize what they were saying, or if I just like missed something. But that it seems like they are filming. It seems like it is actually in production right now.
Yeah. But like I said, I'll believe it when I see it, and we'll see if Power Rangers can survive without Super Sentai. We've already been shown Super Sentai can't survive without Power Rangers. But we'll see if it works the other way.
I'll be curious, and this also all comes on the eve of, for some reason, Japan having this epiphany that they have to cater to international audiences, and now like the thought of like, okay, we're gonna make everything with international interest in mind. It seems like that's where they're going with all of this. So.
Yeah, and there's a multitude of reasons for that. We lost Rex. The biggest one being the native audience is dwindling. They don't have the population to sustain it now, so they realize that if they want to stay in business, they need to branch out. It's not like in America where you could theoretically make movies for with an American audience primarily in mind and still be profitable.
Right. And I mean, I'm curious because like -1 was clearly geared kind of more to an international audience, but with Japanese intent still there. So it's like, I see both pros and cons with it. I definitely agree with like Ano, who said like we can't, like, people like the Japanese content because it's undoubtedly Japanese.
Yeah, and I think that's something that the executives, and probably some of the creatives as well, but the executives I think really don't understand this. And that is, if you make a movie that is distinctly the flavor of your home country, that doesn't necessarily mean that audiences outside of that country won't like it.
Mm-hmm.
American films and pop culture became popular in Japan for a lot of reasons, but I think part of it was because they liked how distinctly American they were, and we all love Japanese media because of how Japanese it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not something that we get to experience all the time.
I agree. Real quick, we have a comment from Edwin Gonzalez.
One of probably my biggest fan at this point.
Nicknames: Nate, Spider, Rex, Veracity, Elijah, Harris. Don't ask.
I was going to say, this is his thing. He loves giving me and like any co-hosts or people I have on stream or whatever funny nicknames that all have some sort of a theme, but the themes don't always make sense to anybody other than Edwin. So I'm not sure what he's talking about. He says not to ask, so I'm not going to ask.
But regardless, I am excited to see where Gavin goes. I need to watch the original Gavan. I've been like the itch to watch a Toku show has been coming back to me.
Right.
I'm finally back after that Ultra out.
Yeah. You never. We did watch a few episodes of 80 together because you were trying to finish it, and we had fun doing that. I wouldn't mind doing that again with you sometime. Because I actually like Ultraman 80. Admittedly, I feel like it peaked in those first 12 episodes where it was very distinct, where he was the school teacher, and then they dropped it, and it just felt more typical after that. However, they do follow up on that in Mebius, and it's a very touching episode.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to ask you what episode we ended on because I don't remember. And
I could probably identify it for you, but the problem is, I don't know if you watched more after that.
I don't think so. I think I just stopped.
Yeah.
It was
like I said, I could probably, if I looked at the episode titles, maybe watched a little bit of it, I could probably tell you what we watched, so you could try to pick up from there.
I was ultra.
Once you get to Tiga, I am extremely excited for you because
my plan is
I found out the hype was real about Tiga. Tiga is top tier Ultraman.
My plan is to basically finish up 80 right in time for Powered or Great and Powered to come out. I'm gonna watch those, and then I'll start Tiga, the side story. Dinah.
Well, you're gonna have to watch The Adventure Begins before those.
I don't have to watch it, and I've already seen that. Technically, I saw.
Oh yes,
many years ago.
That is a seminal movie for you and me, Elijah, because that was your face reveal to me personally. After we watched that on a live, we did a video call and we watched that together with some of our friends, and then you're like, "Hey guys, here's my face."
So it's definitely something I'm interested in. And I do want to pursue maybe here relatively soon once I had forgotten that the last bit of Ultraman 80 I had watched was with you. So we'll see how that goes. Rex is not back. He is having some of his internet problems. I'm sure Helmy is well aware of how Australian internet is. So I'm going to go ahead and start us. I'd like him to take the lead when he does get back. But there has been some buzz in the Kamen Rider world with a new Kamen Rider movie in the works. And as I mentioned Kamen Rider, he comes back.
I didn't even have to yell Kamen Rider.
How convenient.
Yeah. By the way, I was going to bring this up at some point, but since you mentioned those other two Ultra shows after Rex left, Rex, my boy, I am going to need your feedback once Alliance Entertainment puts it out. I need to hear your opinions on Ultraman Great because he's your boy. He's from your country.
It's crazy. I've never actually finished that show. I have seen.
Let's watch it together.
We should.
It's only 13 episodes. You guys could easily burn through it, do an episode about it, and then we could lean into Rex as our resident Australia expert because he's a native, and it'd be like, yeah, so Australian Ultraman.
To do that, Rex and I would have to go through all of Showa again, and Adventure Begins.
Yeah, fun fact, I've met ya boy at All Monsters Attack. He has an unusual name. It's
Paul
the star of Towards the Future. What? I completely missed it. I'm gonna watch the VOD and be like, Elijah, why?
That was the first name that came to my mind.
Adam Wingard.
And it's probably because Rex and I were talking about a movie they were in like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
But no, maybe you and I should watch that together, Rex. Like do a daily or every other day or something.
Yeah.
Knock out. Yeah. We could probably do both Powered and Great that way because they're not long.
They're 13
Yeah.
episodes apiece. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Powered before. It was interesting. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
It's I will admit it was a little surreal watching an Ultra show that one was natively in English, two had Australian accents, and three, I think this was the first Ultraman whose suit was actually spandex.
Yeah.
And he's still a rarity. There are not many Ultras who have spandex costumes.
Right.
Speaking of costumes,
yes,
there's a bunch of costumes that are about to be unveiled here in a couple days with the 55th anniversary Kamen Rider movie. Voting is currently underway for what fans think the movie might be based on 11 Heisei Kamen Rider anniversaries. The title will be announced January 26th of 2026, so in a couple days as of this live stream. Your titles are the 25th anniversary of Kamen Rider Agito, Superpower Plus War, the 24th anniversary of Kamen Rider Ryuki, Survive Grand Prix, the 20th anniversary of Kamen Rider Kabuto, 20th, Inheriting the Heavens, the 19th anniversary of Kamen Rider Den-O, On Fire, 17th anniversary of Kamen Rider Decade, Super Shocker War, the 13th anniversary of Kamen Rider Game, Niflheim War, the 11th anniversary of Kamen Rider Ghost, Anniversary, the beginning of the Icons, the 10th anniversary of Kamen Rider Amazons, I think that's an interesting poll, Psychic War, the 10th anniversary of Kamen Rider X8, also titled Psychic War, but in English, the 9th anniversary of Kamen Rider Build, Be the Two, and the 7th anniversary of Kamen Rider Zeo, Next New World. Now, Rex, you are also the resident Kamen Rider fan for Kaiju Conversation. Why don't you take the lead on kind of a little bit of backstory and a little bit of your input and thoughts on this, and then we'll go to Nathan and go to me.
Well, I gotta say, when they first revealed all these titles, I was extremely disappointed to not see Shin Kamen Rider Masker World.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's the biggest disappointment of it all.
I think at this point we need to just resign ourselves to the fact that none of those Shin movies are getting sequels.
Okay, so that I don't necessarily understand that, because didn't Kara make a post saying that Hideaki Anno is working on his next project and it's a continuation of Shin Kamen Rider, and they had the Masker World on the Blu-ray?
So, like, the Masker World was like a little thing they filmed for the TV version that's on that Blu-ray. Alongside that, they filmed like ending credits for each episode and whatnot, based off Kamen Rider's endings. So yeah, it's just that's kind of like meant to be more of like a hypothetical next episode preview, unfortunately. And I'm sure they probably hope to drum up a little bit of interest with it.
Well, here's a crazy idea. All of these are a ruse. They actually are going to announce that.
God, I wish. I truly wish.
To throw people off. It's like, haha, you thought we were going to do one of these, but it is I, Shin Kamen Rider Masker World.
I would really hope for that. If in a perfect world, that would be what happens. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that we're celebrating like 50th of Kamen Rider, or what is it? 55th? 55th of Kamen Rider. No Showa mention. R.I.P. Showa.
I'm with you. I'm mildly annoyed by that.
It's got too many motorcycles in it for him to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What do you think this is? You know, old Kamen Rider? Yeah, we like the Kamen. We can't do the Rider anymore.
But I will take the Amazon's acknowledgement. At least they remember that show exists.
I was shocked.
Put it back on Amazon Prime, dang it.
For real.
Or
I was going to start watching that, and then it got deleted. This is why physical media is superior.
Or just
Yeah.
give it a Blu-ray release.
For real. That was my first writer show, so I'd love to be able to watch that again.
Oh, I'm glad that was the first for you.
It really matches his personality.
Yeah, it is the most me Kamen Rider show to start with. But yeah. So what movie this actually is? So they've been doing like some promotional videos I saw with like certain cast members to drum up hype on, oh, it could be this movie, it could be the Agito movie, because we got like one of the side characters. Oh, we got Kamen Rider Knuckles from Gaim. But it was already like kind of leaked online like 3 months or so ago that the Kabuto movie is filming. So it's going to be that one.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dramatic reveal.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really invested in any of these, especially since only 2 of them have I seen any of the shows. And that's Akito and Ryuki.
Right. I mean, Akito one would be cool to see.
Well, no, wait. Zero. What was ZO, not 01. That's what.
Yeah,
okay,
just ZO.
Hmm.
So we'll see what happens. I think it's interesting they're doing this route. Maybe this is just my theory. Maybe they're taking the voting thing and they're going to utilize that to like the next anniversary. Like maybe there was a huge vote for like Agito, but they didn't do it. So like next year they'll do it or something. I was really shocked at the picks they did because like I listed them off. Like some are like the 11th anniversary, the 13th, and
Yeah,
it's like why?
It's a
like,
weird one.
It makes sense for Kabuto just because it's the 20th and it's in the title as well. So it's not too crazy. One thing I'm really surprised by, and this was something I was shocked that we never got with Sentai or Power Rangers, is an animated adaptation. That was something I feel like is a really missed opportunity for these properties, is to do animated versions.
There is a Kamen Rider anime and kind of sort of 2.
Kamen Rider SD and Hijima wants to be a Kamen Rider, right?
I guess
that makes it 3. I guess that makes it 3 because you had Futo PI.
Oh, that's right, Futo PI. But
it baffles me that they made that available internationally with a dub, I think, even on Crunchyroll, but not the original show because it's a sequel.
I mean, Double's movie got an English release not too long ago.
That just makes it even more baffling.
But in the world of anime, there's just so many opportunities with stuff like that. And we actually did get announced Kaiju Girl Carmelis. It's an anime based off of a manga. It's going to be broadcast in Japan on TBS in BS11 in 2026. We have some official artwork that features the kaiju and our main characters. They did a teaser trailer along with the website going live. The cast of the anime includes Kuro Akaishi, voiced by Hikari Senga, Arata Minami, voiced by Daishi Kajita, Manatsu Tomasato, voiced by Akira Sekine, sorry. Raimu Kono, voiced by Haruka Shiraishi. Rinko Akashi, voiced by Kotono Mitsushi. Kotaro Hibinu, voiced by Katsuyuki Konishi. And Jumbo King, voiced by Eriko Matsui. The anime features both 2D and 3D animation. And I'll just kind of start us off and then we can kind of jump in. I really appreciated how the kaiju, it's 2D animated. It looks really good. I was actually shocked how interested I was in this trailer, in this teaser. And I'm really hoping it does get brought over stateside, whether it be
Oh,
Crunchyroll or
I think this one will get brought over.
Most
I
likely,
think,
yeah.
and I think the way they could do it. First off, I would like to point out I am shocked at the exponential increase in the number of kaiju anime that we have been getting in the last 5 years. It used to be they used to be incredibly scarce, and now they just seem to be everywhere now. It's kind of funny, but I could see this potentially getting brought over and marketed as a companion to Kaiju number 8. So it's like Kaiju number 8 is the boy show. This is the girl show. Both of which involve kaiju, because this is basically a shoujo manga. It is a shoujo, but with a kaiju.
Yeah.
And for those who may not know, if you might have heard the term shonen, shonen is the term used for manga and anime that's aimed at like boys, like we're talking like middle school and up to kind of young adult. And then shoujo is the equivalent, but for girls. And that's what this is. This is a romantic comedy, a teenage romantic comedy with a kaiju. And I'm sure you'll explain because you probably have the synopsis.
Actually, there was no synopsis.
No synopsis.
Provided.
All right, then I'll let you know. This is in the trailer. Long and short of it, we have a very shy teenage girl falls in love with the cute boy at school, but she's unwilling to open up to him or anybody because it's kind of a werewolf situation. Whenever she experiences strong emotions, she turns into a kaiju.
What can I say? Awesome premise.
Yeah. That's kind of all I really have to say on it. I'm not the resident anime person in this call or on the show in general. So,
well, I have a friend named Bex who runs a podcast called Redeemed Otaku. I've had her on my show a few times, and I've been joking with her since this was announced, the anime at the very least. I don't know if the manga has ever been released over here, but
yes.
Oh, it has.
Yes,
okay.
It has.
But I've been joking.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've been joking with her about how this seems like something that if she and I collaborated on something, we would come up with this.
I'll be really curious because recently Kaiju number 8 got released on Blu-ray, so I'll be curious if it does get a US release, if it'll eventually go to Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because aren't there is it just the weirdo Shonen Godzilla anime and this? No, you're getting several kaiju anime.
So
there's
you
have Gayatama or Gigatama.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Gayatama. You have Gayatama. You have the upcoming season 3 of Kaiju number 8 with that short film attached to it. Kaiju Girl Carmelis, the anime series. Darkness Heals was announced.
Okay, that's
years ago.
Announced years ago, which is an Ultraman based one. Gyatima the Gigantus.
That's what it was, yeah.
Seemingly Singular Point season 2 is not occurring now.
I was going to say there's no way that's happening now.
Gamera Rebirth season 2, which is unlikely, but there's also the crowdfunding project, which we don't even know if that's actually anything. Like it could just be like, oh, we want to make a promotional suit.
Does Katakawa even know that's a thing?
I don't think so. I mean, if you go look at the Japanese posts, like people are saying, like, what happened to the crowdfunder?
Yeah, it's really weird. But all that to say, I'm looking forward to this. Honestly,
yeah, absolutely.
If this was released stateside, I'd watch it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a million times more interesting and exciting to me than that image we saw from that upcoming Godzilla anime.
Yeah. I really hope it comes to Blu-ray. I think that's the big one is like I'm all about getting this stuff on physical media so you don't have the ads or like the lower frame rates or the worst quality. And in
Oh
fact,
yeah, I like
So real.
seriously. Yeah, I was gonna say seriously, we could do a
And-
whole thing about
and
physical media. but-
Oh my god. I tried using Crunchyroll recently to show a friend of mine the first episode of Chainsaw Man. Oh my god, I forgot how bad the ads on Crunchyroll were, bro. Oh my god.
But with physical media in mind, something else that's coming to Blu-ray is SRS is releasing Brush of the God. It's coming late April or late May. Comes with the slipcover, limited to 1,000 for the slipcover. It's 2,000 units only, featuring newly commissioned artwork by Bob Eggleton, and the bonus features are to be determined. Another thing I'm going
talk to
throw out
Elijah.
Another thing I'm going to throw out here real quick is Ron Bonk, the president of SRS Cinema, has teased an upcoming potential SRS Fest, tackling kaiju pre-orders that are going to go live every month in 2026.
That is
Now-
bonkers to me.
Dun-dun.
That is, yeah, seriously. I'm like, what? Ron, quit taking my money. Also, where are you finding more things to release? Like, I was trying to think of what indie kaiju movies hasn't he released at this point? And I can only think of two.
I am going to hand the microphone figuratively over to you two gentlemen, because I can't comment on any of this as I'm involved with all of it. So,
Right.
Rex,
Right.
you are now the
First off,
host, and
I was
Nathan,
going to say,
you are.
first off, this is without a doubt the most beautiful cover that SRS has ever
Bob
done.
Eggleton, our goat, for real.
I was gonna say, like, the fact that SRS could afford Bob, and for something like this, like, I would
Yeah.
want no one else to touch this movie.
I will.
Yeah.
I will talk about this now that it's announced, because I was the one who picked Bob. After we licensed it, it was down to a handful of people that we were looking at. I won't name names because I don't want anybody getting upset or anything. So we were down to a handful of names. And, out of those names, I was like, I see reasons to have all of them. But it was like, out of all of these guys, like, I really wanted Bob. Whenever we got the announcement, I pitched Bob. I was like, I want Bob Eggleton. I thought that his art would be very well represented on the cover of this. I thought it would look great for the film. The title Brush of the God and his
It's so appropriate.
Right.
yes.
It is so appropriate. And I have this funny little, I guess you could say, like, mental tier list. I've been going through as many of the SRS Kaiju titles because I've been gobbling them all up, watching them, seeing if I want to do a podcast episode on them sooner rather than later, things like that. Because I would love to do an entire season. It's just indie movies. And at this point, SRS is going to be single-handedly fund that. And I have like a mental tier list of SRS Kaiju releases. And I jokingly call my S tier Too Good for SRS. And I am fully expecting Brush of the God to reach that level.
Yeah, Brush is a lovely, beautiful film. Very glad to see the Bob Eggleton art, obviously, because it's like, as you said, I feel like Bob Eggleton, out of all like the big name kaiju artists, is the one that fits. His style just fits this movie the best.
Yeah, it's just, especially since this is the swan song for Keizo Murase.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had the privilege of meeting him at G-Fest a few years ago, and I wish I had taken that a little bit more serious, that opportunity a little bit more seriously,
Right.
In light of everything.
Right.
And I would want no one else but Bob. Bob is an old school fan, and he's my gosh, he feels like he's been around since the American Kaiju fandom came into existence, like in the mid 50s, if you want to go all the way back to then. And, so he was there when
Right.
Keizo Murase's work was coming out, when it was
Mhm.
brand new, when he was making the Varan suit with peanut shells. Okay. That is what this is what a genius craftsman this man was. He made the skin texture of that Varan suit with peanut shells. Like, I didn't even realize that until it was said at G-Fest, and that is just nuts to me. So the fact that he got to make his own movie is something that he's been apparently this idea was in his head for years, and he's been wanting to do it. It's based heavily in Japanese folklore. Yeah, we've seen the Orochi many times in film, but I have seen clips of his special effects work in this, and it's astonishing.
Right.
It is
right.
old school tokusatsu goodness, and I love it.
Right. Yeah, it is very it is a very Keizo Murase film in every possible sense of that word. Yeah. I don't know. Outside of that, I know SRS has a lot in store. I'm not really gonna name names because I'm scared I'll name something that Elijah doesn't want mentioned yet. So I'll just say that in terms of like stuff that like has already been announced is coming out, like Visual Bandits is another indie toku kaiju series that from what I've watched is for like stuff that was shot on like 16mm film. It looks absolutely beautiful. That is a beautiful indie work. So SRS is currently putting out a lot of the goods. They've also got the upcoming Ishiro they've got the Ishiro Honda documentary that was shown at like G-Fest and some other film festivals that they're coming up. They're coming out with. I know Elijah obviously going to work on it. So yeah, exciting stuff in the future and plenty more that is yet to be announced that Elijah is currently keeping very tight-lipped before he accidentally spills something that gets him in lots of trouble. Maybe if I say his name enough times, I'll get him to slip something and give us the exclusive.
Well, like I said, he must know a lot more indie kaiju titles than I do, because the only major ones I could only name 2, at least from Japan. So
I will say this, and this is probably where I'll wrap things up here. The titles that we have this year is starting with Brush, actually, because I was the one who kind of pushed the license Brush when it did. This year in particular has been the whole lineup, besides the Honda doc, perhaps, but even then, that was on my list I sent out months ago. Everything we've licensed was through me. I'm the one who everything that's coming is handpicked by me, pretty much. Some of it was offered in a package deal, but like it was something that I was already well aware of. So there is a lot coming, and I'm very excited.
Elijah, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you somehow got us Gamera 4, I may have to resist the urge to kiss you at G-Fest. I'm just saying.
You could just do that anyways. You have free will.
That is something that I would love to get licensed one day. We'll see.
I thought you were going to say that was something you'd love to happen at G-Fest, Elijah.
I was just going to say, that wasn't one of the ones that was on my mind, but like that is a Grail license right there.
Yeah.
That is a Grail license, because if you can get it, You are, sir, are more powerful than Arrow.
I will say this. I'm the one who advises, but Ron is the one who does end up the deal. So I have to give him credit for entrusting me with this year's package. It's like I said, it was all through me, but it was his negotiating, his openness to tackle the titles that I pitched. And I'm hoping that it does well enough this year that we can pursue even more titles that I'd like to see. Because I will say this, the stuff we have this year is great, but there is plenty more to get. And I am all for grabbing as many of those as I possibly can get.
Yeah. Before we move on, Nathan, you do have free will. Always remember that.
Yeah, I have what?
Free will.
Yeah.
Which means you can also purchase anything you could ever want. However, you cannot purchase a handful of things now from Alliance Entertainment and Subaraya. Ultraman out of print hints at the next releases from Alliance.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, you and I had a long conversation on the phone about this, Elijah.
So
I made you aware of a couple of them, and then you did some digging.
So let me do a quick rundown of all of the Mill Creek Blu-rays and DVDs that are seemingly out of print.
I was going to say, no official announcements have been made about this.
We have the Ultra Q Steelbook, The Birth of Ultraman, Ultraman, Ultra 7, Ultraman Ace, Ultraman Tara, Ultraman Leo's Steelbooks, The Ultraman on DVD, Ultraman 80 on DVD, Gridman, the Hyper Agent, Ultraman Dyna, Ultraman Neos, Ultraman Cosmos, Ultraman Nexus, Ultraman Mebius, Ultra 7X, Neo Ultra Q, Ultra Galaxy Mega Monster Battle, Ultraman Ginga and Ultraman Ginga S, and Ultraman Ultra Fight Victory, Ultraman X, Ultraman X the Movie Solo Blu-ray, Ultraman Orb Solo Blu-ray, Ultraman Orb the Origin Saga and Ultra Fight Orb, Ultraman Geed the Movie, the Solo Blu-ray, Ultraman Rube, the Movie, Solo Blu-ray, and Ultraman Kaiju Battle Gamora. These are all titles that are no longer available on Amazon as of a couple days ago when I last checked.
At least directly from Amazon.
Correct. Now they are all third-party, high-dollar market value.
Not necessarily all of them. The way I discovered this was I was doing some Christmas shopping. I was going to buy Ultra 7X for a friend of mine and discovered that it was over $100.
Yippee.
I'm like, what the frick happened? Did this go out of print without me knowing? Why is it over $100 now? And then someone else told me that Mebius was out of print. Like, you are kidding me. Mebius? Yeah. And then Elijah did some more digging and came up with that list. I'm like, that is ridiculous. Because I think we had it. The Steelbooks don't surprise me a whole lot, because that was a nice little gimmick that they would release that with a quote unquote standard set. And so I'm not surprised because Steelbooks were, they were a gimmick for a while in physical media, but I think that trend has, kind of come and gone because we don't really see Steelbooks being made anymore. But the rest of those, I think we took it for granted because I remember having this conversation with you, Elijah. We were figuring that like the standard deal for stuff like this was it stays in print for at least 5 years. And that has not been the case with some of these.
Correct.
Some of these have not been released within it wasn't more than 5 years ago. And stuff like the standard editions of those Steelbooks are still available.
Right.
And that was what, 2018, 2019, or is it announced in 2018, released in 2019?
So I think it was announced and releases began in 2019. This is what's really weird is the deal for all of this was made in 2019. So they had 5 years as of that deal, perhaps. Keith Aiken, who worked on the booklets, the copyright, did the promotional stuff, and helped pick out what they licensed, said that Mill Creek had the license for years to come. Now, that makes sense for some of these, because some of these are like, they released the movies to Walmart exclusively and now they're out of print, or the steelbooks like you mentioned, Nathan, or like even Birth of Ultraman. It was an Ultraman Day.
Yeah, that was a deep discount exclusive for a long time. And then after, I don't know, like 6 months or something, I think that's when it started showing up on like Amazon. I bought it from deep discount. Admittedly, I bought it primarily to get that pre-premiere special. That was the big draw for me.
So like some of this, it makes sense that it's out of print, but others, like it hasn't been, it's been 2 or 3 years. Stuff like Ultra 7X is interesting because it was the Blu-ray premiere worldwide, but now it's out of print. Some of it, I do wonder, like the Ultraman 80, Ultraman Dyna, Ultraman Neos, Ultraman Mebius, all have Blu-rays in Japan. So I do wonder if those will get re-released.
Yeah. So that was something we had this conversation. What I'm wondering if Mill Creek is kind of quietly letting those fall out of print, because I'm guessing maybe demand has diminished for them, because they're like, we can re-release these on Blu-ray now that they have Blu-ray remasters. Because that was something after they had that long string of hits with these Blu-ray releases, and then suddenly they switched to DVD and people are like, what are you doing? And it goes back to the fact that there were no Blu-ray remasters of those available, but they wanted to put them out anyway, so they just released DVDs, which I can understand. But that's why I'm secretly hoping that maybe we could get a re-release of particularly the Ultraman and 80,
because those are true HDs.
Yeah, not only that, but the Ultraman is in desperate need of new subtitles because the subs are not great. They're very
have a full HD transfer. I know there's episodes of 80 that are in full HD.
Yes, in Japan they released Blu-rays for both the Ultraman and Ultraman 80 recently.
Yeah.
Along with
the
Mebius and Max.
Yeah, I remember the subs for 80 being pretty decent, but you could tell that the show had not been remastered. It did not look as good as the others, which is weird, because this is the thing that's kind of strange, because with these Mill Creek / Alliance Entertainment releases, 80 did not look great even on DVD, but Mebius did. Because people were thinking Mebius was going to look terrible, and it looks really good on DVD. I've even seen, because I've been watching, they were advertising the Mebius remaster during the simulcast for the new Ultra series, and I will admit, even though they do a side by side, you can barely tell the difference. It's like it's a barely noticeable upscale,
right?
But maybe that's why. Maybe it's just Mebius just looks so good from the get-go that even on DVD it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, what, like they were doing like the tape mastering from around Tiga onwards, so they might have switched to digital with Mebius. I'm not sure on this. I'm kind of speaking at my ass here, but
yeah. Well, I did see a video where somebody reviewed the Nexus set, and he specifically said that that Ultraman the Next on that DVD, thankfully it was a standalone DVD in that set, but he said it wasn't quite as good as the Japanese release.
That's one that's in desperate need of a remaster, but they haven't done it yet.
Yeah, Nexus would also benefit from a re-release, not only because of the remaster, but also to include those director's cuts of, like, there's a couple episodes that have different cuts. I would love to see those.
Yeah, believe me, I've seen one of them. It's the one episode that like isn't a director's cut, but just is an extra episode. It's a really good episode.
Yeah, and
it develops a character who gets like no screen time in the actual show.
Yeah. Well, and I also think I mean, Tiga wasn't mentioned, and I'm guessing probably because Tiga continues to sell because because Tiga's extremely popular, so that set probably keeps selling. I would love to see Tiga either get a Blu-ray re-release in America, or if nothing else, give us a standalone Blu-ray for the Final Odyssey, because I think it's now possible they could do that.
I'm going to interject here real quick. A couple things that also came out is a couple of allusions to possible upcoming releases that have yet to be announced. Obviously, last year at G Fest, that's when we got the announcements for the 4K Ultraman Ultra 7, 4K Ultraman Discovery, Ultraman Arc got its formal announcement there, and then Towards the Future and Ultimate Hero got announced there. And we haven't heard anything since. We haven't even seen updates on any of those besides Arc coming out and
especially since Towards the Future and Ultimate Hero is supposed to be out in March.
Towards the Future is
okay.
Ultimate Hero is later, I think May. I'd have to look back at what I quoted them saying.
Yeah.
But they did say March of 26 was going to be one of them.
That is true. But the thing that makes that Ultra 7 4K even more interesting is the banned episode of Ultra 7 got leaked onto the internet, and it has been remastered.
Which we've known that for years.
Yeah,
there's been reports of them remastering it every time they do.
Yeah, but it's just nuts to think that they've done that, and now it's been leaked onto the internet. You can't. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle at this point, even as hard as they try to stamp it down, I'm guessing. But how absolutely insane would it be if that 4K set came out and it included that episode? Like, you want to talk about giving people a reason to buy it? That would be absolutely nuts.
I think
it's a great episode.
80-20 not going to happen.
It probably won't, but it would be absolutely nuts if it did.
Mm-hmm. But a couple other things is there has been some recent subtitled releases on YouTube for Heisei Ultra 7 Special Number 2 Planet of Earthlings, Ultra Zone The Love, and shorts for Kaiju Buska. Heisei Ultra 7 is the only one that has been released in full so far, like that one episode. It was actually in HD, so an HD transfer does exist for that.
Yeah, that's one of the few gaps that Alliance still has left to fill. There are not many, and we're talking like if you're going outside of the compilation movies, because I can understand why maybe they're not in a big rush to get those, but if you exclude those, it's like Andromelos, which is kind of a weird spinoff that's technically part of the Ultra series, but and then you have Ultraman Story. That's the one movie I'm a little surprised they skipped, but it's because it's like half compilation, half new.
Right.
I think people would be willing to buy it despite that, because it's technically the first Ultra film that has original footage in it. And then it's Heisei Ultra 7, which was a series of specials in the 90s. And then I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, the Final Odyssey movie. And then there's like a lot of these kind of like one-offs and little spin-offs, like little animated shorts and the original special for Ultraman Kids. And there's one that's like Ultra Nyan, which is about a cat who's also an ultra hero. Like little things like that are really all that's left. And obviously, Omega just wrapped up. I think it's a given that Omega is going to get licensed. So that's all but guaranteed.
A handful of things that haven't been released yet that are a part of the Ultraman series. You have Ultra Fight from 1970 to 71.
That's true.
You already mentioned Story Andromelos, Ultraman Kids Proverbs Stories in 1986. Ultra Q, the movie, Legend of the Stars, the movie, which is not going to happen. Heisei Ultra 7, Ultraman Tiga, The Final Odyssey, Ultra Q Dark Fantasy, which is unlikely. Ultra Zone from 2011 to 2012. Ultra Zero Fight, which is in Ultraman Zero the Chronicle, but it is
Some of
missing
it.
a handful of it.
Yeah, it's missing. And isn't Ultrazone another one of the ones that's being released subtitled on the YouTube channel?
Yes. A couple other things. You have Ultraman the Prime, which is a variety show, like a clip show similar to the Chronicle, for Ultraman Zero. And then you have Ultraman Orb the Chronicle, Ultraman New Generation Chronicle, Ultraman the anime, which we know that Mill Creek has the first season, and it's streaming on Tubi now, but seasons 2 and 3 are still exclusive to Netflix because it's been less than 5 years for those. You have Ultraman Chronicles Zero and Geed, Ultraman Chronicles Z, Heroes Odyssey. Sevenger Fight has not been released. Ultraman Chronicle
Which is a little
D.
surprising.
And then you have Ultraman New Generation Stars seasons 1, 2, 3, and then they just started 4 tonight, actually.
Yeah. The clip shows. Yeah.
Ultraman Omega and then Ultraman Rising. And then
because a lot of those have been released in some form in America. They just need physical releases.
Or those clip shows aren't fully like those specific.
The clip shows aren't. So it's just there aren't very many gaps for them to fill at this point, unless they want to re-release some of these things after they get Blu-ray remasters. So I mean, my impression is that Ultraman has been good business for Mill Creek / Alliance. There's been some ups and downs with that, with this entire rollout that they've been doing for the last, gee whiz, we're talking almost 7 years now, but there's not a lot left.
There's also Ultra Super Fight and Anime-chan, anime
That's
movie
true.
from the 80s. But it is also important to note that Alliance is now the new company. Mill Creek no longer exists. Somebody pointed out that we will probably see a rise in prices because of that, because Mill Creek was more of we're gonna do a bulk amount, and Alliance is supposed to be more specific and angled. The stuff I listed that was out of print, people have suggested that perhaps it isn't, and it's just getting pulled to rebrand and then put back out.
That would make sense. But again, it seems a little inconsistent unless those are just the ones that haven't been selling as well. So they're just like, we can pull those and no one's really gonna notice unless you're Elijah Thomas.
Right. I will say I really hope they don't do that, because then that means I gotta buy all of them again. And I don't want to do that.
Just because they changed the branding,
they would change the branding. The copyright would be different. All the dates on the back would be different. The discs would have different encoding.
Elijah, it's okay.
That
you don't need to pull a Danny DeManna and search out every VHS edition of Godzilla versus Megalon.
Godzilla, Gamera, and Ultraman are the only 3 series I do this with. I refuse to do anything else.
So you said.
But I'll be curious to see. I mean, and the big thing is they are all still streaming. So clearly, at the very least, it's just physical that's no longer available. But there's always a possibility that the streaming rights are still being held, which is good because, I mean, that's why we think Omega's licensed, because it is streaming on Tubi as well. So
the first streaming, half anyway, the dub is. Yeah.
The streaming side of the stuff is looking really good, and streaming in general for Kaiju is doing great. I believe it's this one. Sorry, they're a little out of order here. We did recently get the season 2 trailer and poster for Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. The release of it was January 13th of 2026. And with it, we got the reveal of Titan X, the new big bad.
Titan X.
The press release from Apple TV said Titan X isn't just another monster. It's a living cataclysm. When its massive bioluminescent form breaks the surface of the ocean, the world seems to hold its breath. In Monarch: Legacy of Monsters Season 2, Titan X stands at the center of the mystery, an ancient force emerging from the depths. Its purpose uncertain, its power unmatched, its awe and terror in equal measure.
Yeah, I think that guy on Twitter who said that description is AI generated is probably right.
I was gonna say what Titan X sounds like a boss I should be killing in a video game.
Yeah, I think the poster looks stupid. Like specifically the typography, like the text just looks really wonky on it. I don't like the
Monarch
name
has
of the
not had a
monster.
single good poster. So
No, it's
this
not.
is
Yeah.
par for the course.
Well, here's what I'm trying to figure out because I watched the trailer and assuming they showed us Titan X in the trailer,
It's
call
the
me
Kraken.
crazy. I'm wondering if someone decided, hey, remember that Netflix Kong pseudo anime that nobody liked? Let's bring back the Kraken from it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fine, but only if it makes it 110% clear that anime doesn't count. That pseudo anime doesn't count.
Well, they're doing a
Because if
comic.
it does, worst thing in the MonsterVerse. I hate that show.
I would like to think that they just accidentally came up with a new version of the Kraken that looks similar and is gonna also be called the Kraken, and have never watched that show and have no idea it exists.
Yeah, well, I guess we should call who was it in the last one you were talking about, Elijah? Barnaby. We need to talk to Barnaby about this.
Barnaby's not employed anymore. I found out. Me and a friend did some digging. Barnaby's no longer employed at Legendary. There is no MonsterVerse lore, man. Barnaby.
no more
Let go.
MonsterVerse lore master. The chaos that will be coming. We're not.
They realized they were paying him to do nothing.
I'd like to just think they forgot his office existed, and it was like this windowless room, like this door in there, like on the floor.
They just kept him in their basement.
Yeah, and where he's
he was just
where
held
he's
hostage, and he finally broke
writing
free.
out the entire MonsterVerse wiki lore. Lore wiki on the wall. You know,
like everybody thought his office was like a storage closet for maintenance, and it's actually just a billboard with yarn everywhere, and it's him just figuring out the lore.
Yeah, do you think that maybe the reason he's not employed anymore, he just went insane trying to sort out all the MonsterVerse lore, trying to find a way to fix it, and it just broke him?
I don't think he would have tried. But so a couple cool things. So we do get a little bit more Kong. It's going to be a Kong focused show per like what everybody expected. We got a glimpse at Titan X, an aquatic monster, and we got to see that it's Godzilla in Japan.
Which I did not realize until you brought this up, Elijah. That aside from showing up on the outskirts in Okinawa, in Ogasawara, Godzilla's never been to Japan in the MonsterVerse.
In
Monarch season 1, he also went to like Monster Island, which is like off the coast, but that's about it. Yeah.
So that immediately has made me like, that's honestly my biggest thing I'm excited for. I thought Monarch season 1 was okay. I didn't think it was great, but it wasn't bad.
It's a good show.
But this, like with Godzilla being there, I think that's my leading thing. I'm not a huge Kong person.
Likewise.
I don't love the name Titan X, and I think he looks you know who he looks like? He looks like oh god, what's that kaiju called? Slattern? No. What's the big bad one in Pacific Rim? The one that comes up in like
the category 5? That is Slattern.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, it is Slattern. Yeah. Okay, look at that.
Yeah,
I know my Pacific Rim kaiju. I didn't think I would.
You're a Pacific Rim lore expert. Congratulations.
God, I'm so good. I need a job at Legendary. Let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah, that's Elijah. That's your in at Legendary to live out your dream. To live out your dream and direct a Godzilla movie. You go in there as the replacement for Barnaby. You unravel the entire MonsterVerse lore, and then
that's your job interview.
they're like, let this guy cook. have him make a Godzilla movie, and then you talk to Danny and I to write you a brilliant script. And then
They wouldn't like mine. It would retcon everything. I'd destroy my job.
I keep forgetting.
Elijah would write
I
out
keep
all the
forgetting.
Adam Wingard movies.
I was gonna say I keep forgetting he would do this is Elijah's master plan to destroy the Monsterverse, because he will get it and then he will secretly make a movie that just drops a proverbial nuke on the Monsterverse so it goes away forever.
Let's do it. So, with all of this being said, what did you guys think about the poster? What did you guys think of the trailer? It's coming soon.
The poster's okay. Like you guys said,
It does its job.
It's never had they've never had great posters. I'm definitely interested in the show. I was for the most part happy with the first season. I didn't think it was a great show, but it was a good one. I'm hoping, I'm going to be honest. I thought the 50s stuff was far more compelling than the modern stuff. Like that was the part where I was most interested. Aside from the fact that Kurt Russell continues to be great. I will say that Kurt Russell was the best part of the modern, quote unquote, modern edition parts of the show. And I'm hoping that I get why they didn't want to make it super Godzilla centric. So that way, when Godzilla was in it, you paid attention. Godzilla appearing was an event. But I do think if they insist on doing that, I do think they need to make their original monsters a little bit more interesting, because for some odd reason, they decided that the Frostvark was good enough to have a toy. And I'm like, why that one?
Can I interject?
He was by far the best design.
Probably, maybe that's why, but still, I'm just like, I would almost prefer that Monarch was a little bit more of a Monster of the Week show with some that connects to some sort of overarching storyline, as opposed to like not every episode had a new monster in it in the first season. Maybe since it seems like it's going to be set on Skull Island, maybe we can get a bit more of that going forward. I don't know. I also don't want them to overplay Kong. I'm probably the one person in this stream who likes Kong in particular. I've been very impressed with what the Monsterverse has done with Kong. They have veered him off into a lot of different directions that still feel within the purview of Kong. But I don't want them to overuse him, like I said.
Let me interject real quick, because I want to throw this out there, and I think, Rex, you're going to jump on this immediately. Can I just say the fact that we have a Kong-centric show and they're still clearly going to have Godzilla rampaging, making this yet again another Godzilla and Kong crossover project is really annoying. And like the odds of them maybe having both of them fight this monster, like also really annoying.
Yeah, that's a scary possibility.
I do. If this is supposed to be pre-King of the Monsters, I don't want that.
I think it feels
way too gimmicky, and I think it would retroactively take away from the movies.
Look, I mean, when it comes to connecting to the movies, I'm gonna be real at this point. I don't know if I care about that. I am perfectly happy for Monarch to mostly do its own thing and just like connect a couple dots here and there, like it did with Apex Cybernetics in the first season.
I was gonna say, if what will make Elijah love this is if they put his Apex boy in there.
I'm
Mecca.
Well, we know that lady's coming back, so
that's true. One thing I am a little worried about is I think at the end of the day, I think I'll be whatevs with it. But if they retcon Kong's Storm to be from this monster instead, that's something I'm not looking forward to. Is
Haven't
like
they
the idea.
retconned that storm like 3 times already?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like they didn't already do that with stuff like Aftershock. They already retconned that with Legacy
the
of
comics.
Monsters.
The comics are so weird because I don't. This is Barnaby. Can you help us out here? Because I don't. I am to the point now where I don't necessarily take the comics as being canon at this point. They're interesting side stories that, in the end, don't necessarily matter. You know,
Hey man, Monarch took a character from the comics and made it Kurt Russell. So it's
That's
and
true.
made him 1,000
Yeah.
times more interesting.
Yeah, I like I said, it's but I just wish someone would come out and say something. A lot of times
Right.
with these big franchises, somebody will come out and say this is what counts and this is what doesn't. Famously, Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, said, if it's on screen, it's canon. So all of the novels and the comics, those are interesting stories, but they aren't necessarily canon. So if they wanted to veer off and do something completely different, they could. Or if any of the shows or movies wanted to tackle a story along was covered by one of the novels, they can do it differently. They're like famously, the Star Trek First Contact dealt with kind of the origins of the Federation, which had been done in a novel, but the movie did it very differently. But
Real quick,
what's in the movie is what counts. I wish somebody could do that with the Monsterverse and just make it official. Like, hey, it's the movies and then the TV shows, except for that stupid pseudo anime. But
real quick, Rex, which character is returning? The female character you alluded to, just so people know.
Oh, it's I was referring to the Apex Cybernetics lady.
The one from Monarch season 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because she's in like the guest cast list as this like Takahiro Hira, who was the father character, and then obviously all of our main cast is returning.
yeah. Now
And
I
we've
will
got
say
Amber Midthunder coming in too, which I'm excited for.
Now, I will say this. I think an opportunity that if Monarch continues beyond a season 2, if they really wanted to do something to help this franchise out, they need to do something with Serizawa's son. Such an underutilized
As
character.
long as they don't give the Garo Ken to Ren, I'm good. Because he'll rust the whole world to death.
Yeah.
I'm just no comments on that. Okay. I don't even know what to say to that one.
For anybody who doesn't know, that's a reference to our theme song. I just pulled the quote.
Oh.
Give the Garo Ken to anyone but Ren, else he'll rust the whole world.
But yeah. No, I'm excited for the second season. I enjoy Monarch. I think I enjoy it more than basically anything else in the Monsterverse at this point. So I'm more excited for this than I am Supernova. Even if Godzilla, he's gonna show up maybe like twice or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It definitely seems like he will be more of a backseat character.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he was in season 1.
More so than that, I think.
Yeah, although it does almost seem like this season might be a bit more action focused than the first season was with this Titan X.
The first season was more of a mystery box adventure show.
Right.
I'm
The
gonna
first
miss
season had
that.
the first season had a lot of modern streaming isms. As
Oh,
I'll
good Lord, yes.
put it, which I think is where its biggest shortcoming. So I'm hoping this season at least doesn't have as much of that. I'm praying Alien Earth season 2 does the same. Yeah. But regardless, I am excited for it. It'll probably be better than Supernova. So you know, there's that.
Probably,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Hey, the bar's on the ground. Okay, with Superman.
No, it's in space.
My
There is no
bad.
bar. It's gone. It's ruined.
I may have to. That reminds me. I may have
The
to
bar
go.
no longer exists.
I may have to watch the Netflix movie that the director of Supernova made, just to
It's
kind of
good.
get a
I
feel
Am
for what
Mother
we
is.
can.
It's a nice movie. I
Yeah,
watched it.
what is it called?
I
Am
Am Mother.
I Am Mother. Okay, I'll have to add that to my Netflix farewell tour list, I guess.
Now, in the world of Godzilla, something that's more of kind of a side piece of news. I mean, obviously, we've been talking about Godzilla's returning to Japan, but he also recently took a visit to Malaysia to go and be a part of the Malaysian Godzilla store located at Mitsui Lalaport BBCC at Kuala Lumpus. It's a collaboration between Toho Entertainment Asia, and a local partner, M&M Creations Holdings. At this
Not
store,
to be confused with the rapper who made a song called Godzilla.
correct.
Obvious joke is obvious.
The store also features a statue that has green breath effects. It is the same design from the Igloo Studios Southeast Asia Godzilla promo video. And when I looked at this after thinking about it, the reason we're talking about it is Rex, when the Igloo Studios Studio Orange co-produced anime came out and we talked about that piece of art, you had mentioned that you liked the fact that it looked like Godzilla -1. And that made me think about something. Is the Southeast Asia promo video features a design very much like -1, and it's by
very much
Igloo
derived
Studios.
from it. Yeah.
Yes. And then we get the statue that really showcases how much like -1 it is. And then I was like, the Igloo Studios Godzilla looks like -1. They're doing this upcoming anime where Godzilla looks like -1. I wonder if this is our first full, like, official 3D look at what the design for the Godzilla anime will be. And that's
I mean,
why I
it'll
wanted to
definitely
talk
look similar, but but I mean, I think the one thing with that is like green breath, blue breath. You know what I mean? In that promo from the anime, it is blue
that
breath,
might
like
be
-1.
that might be the one major change between, I think, both. Is it might be the same design, but maybe blue effects.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like the face still screams more -1.
Oh, it
than
definitely does.
This design.
Yeah, when that promo came out, I saw a lot of people pointing out that that Godzilla in the Godzilla the series from the late 90s also breathed green fire.
Correct.
I don't know if that was a callback or if they're like just change the color, make it green. Because let's be honest, Godzilla has rarely not had blue breath.
Right.
Once the movies went to color, it's been almost exclusively blue.
Wasn't it white for a couple of them?
In some of the,
they use like
shots.
misty. They use a misty
Yeah.
spray when they did it practically, so it ends up looking white.
So in some of the shots they did, in the Heisei when he did the powered up version, it was orange. In 2000, they just switched to orange as the default color. I'm trying to remember, was it like that in Megaguirus, or did they go back to blue?
I think it was the same.
It was the same in
I think they
Megaguirus.
did orange. I think they did orange again, and then, like I said, in Godzilla the series, they went to green for whatever reason, and that's really been about it. It's been
Final
blue.
Wars had red.
For the
The power up?
Ray.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
power. Yeah, that was another power up.
Shin Godzilla did purple.
That is true.
Hmm.
That is true. That's another one of the exceptions.
And that's about it.
Mhm.
So there's not really a lot here, but I just wanted to bring up that and kind of hear your guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah,
The
It's-
world. Go
I
ahead.
was just saying, it's yet more evidence that Toho subtly loves whoring out Godzilla right now to almost anything. It's kind of nuts.
I mean, it's really marketable. And marketing is the big thing Toho's pushing right now, is to really get Godzilla out there. And especially after the success of -1, which is perfect for what is coming with the Godzilla -0 announcements. We recently got the poster reveal, the teaser poster, and the release dates for not only Japan, but America. Now, before this announcement, they had -0 slated for 2026. It was a part of their 2026 slate announcement, but it was undated.
Right.
Previously, the Hollywood Reporter had reported it was going to be out in 2026. Rex, you and I have been saying this for over a year. At this point that it was going to be 2026.
Right.
No shock there. We said it was on the same track to come out at around the same time. We were thinking maybe December based off of how successful Godzilla films are in December. But to our surprise, the Japanese release date is slated for November 3rd, 2026 on Japanese Culture Day, which is a Tuesday.
And it's also Godzilla Day.
It's Godzilla Day. And the United States is getting it November 6th, 3 days after, if you want to get technical, 4 if you count time zones. But
that is absolutely insane. This was another thing that we talked about in one of our group chats. Doesn't this now hold, I should say, this will hold the record for fastest turnaround?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think the previous...
-1 had the previous record.
Yeah, there was the previous record. Before that, I think it was Shin, and then before that, it was like Mothra versus Godzilla.
Before
the only thing that kind of beats it is Singular Point, if you want to talk TV, because that was same day.
So yeah, if you talk movies,
because it was airing on Japanese TV, and then got
it was airing a week after on Japanese TV, but when it aired on Netflix, it was airing like an hour after. Or no, sorry, I'm wrong.
No, because it was they released all of it. They released all of it on Netflix.
Sorry, I'm just wrong. I'm just straight up wrong. I was watching with a VPN. I remember. Now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, Rex, you can at least admit when you're wrong, unlike someone else in this chat.
Nathan, thank you for being self-aware. So the way the record went, it was Mothra versus Godzilla with like 113 days, and then it was Godzilla. Oh God, which one was it? It was Shin Godzilla, which had like a 94 day.
Yeah, it was
and then it
3
was
months. Yeah,
and then it was Godzilla 2: City on the Edge of Battle, which had like 40 some odd days, and then it was -1 with about 30. And now -0, which will be 3.
3 days, which means when we get to like Godzilla +1, because that just seems to be how the math is, and the title convention is going to work here. Which will be this wonderful romantic comedy where Godzilla goes to a wedding and has to find himself a date. But
I think I have.
They'll release it the same day in America and Japan. That is the escalation I am anticipating here. And then if they really want to get nuts and make a 4th movie, it comes out in America first, because that's the only way that they could top this.
I have a theory that the next Godzilla movie, if they do a 3rd one and Yamazaki does do a trilogy, which is what I've been saying for years now, I think the 3rd one will just be called Godzilla.
Probably.
Not to be confused with Godzilla, or to be confused with the other Godzilla, or the other Godzilla, or the other Godzilla.
Yeah, we have a lot of Godzillas. I'm just saying. Also, as was revealed, this is definitely a bit of news with this poster we need to talk about. Shout out to Daniel Demana. You'll stare at that cloud long enough, you will see a Dorat.
Actually one of the things,
anything if you stare at these clouds long enough.
But usually drugs are involved. I'm pretty sure Danny did it sober, which is why he's right.
Never know. He might have been on a bit of acid.
One of the things that is seen in this poster that's important is to note that G-Kids will be distributing it in the United States with a full theatrical release, which will probably be about 40 plus days. So it'll be in theaters from November 6th well into probably mid-December, probably around the time of Avengers and Dune Part 2. Shortly after that, it'll probably
Part 3.
Part 3, sorry. But that's pretty exciting. The thing also to note is it's probably going to premiere at the Tokyo International Film Festival in 2026 between October 25th and November 5th. So it'll probably have its premiere about the 25th or 26th of October.
I am going to laugh. I know people are worried that Doomsday is going to just wreck this thing's box office. I'm going to laugh if Godzilla wrecks the
Don't use Doomsday. That's a forced marketing strategy. It's not Barbenheimer.
Yeah, whatever. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to laugh. I'm going to laugh if Godzilla beats the Avengers. Like, that is how you know the MCU has truly failed, if this little movie from Japan beats it.
I mean, it'll make it happen,
but I think even if like that movie does awful, it's like people are going to be there just to see how awful it is. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be forced to go.
You're not there. So. That's so real. That's so real.
So one other interesting thing here is the Japanese poster is slightly different to the English one. Just besides its contrast, its contrast is slightly different.
Well, that's only on the Twitter version. On the Instagram post, it was the same.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they just messed up the Twitter upload. Yeah, because I know a lot of people were pointing to that, but like when I saw the post originally on the Japanese Instagram, it looks exactly like the.
Isn't the crop different though? Isn't the Japanese one that's just a little bit more?
I don't think so. If it's cropped a bit differently, that just might be because of like Instagram and whatnot.
I was gonna say, because I'm looking at it now and I can see subtle differences, but it's really only with the lighting.
Fair enough. So it is just a bright flash of light and some clouds with some blue hues towards the bottom of the screen. There's nothing here.
It is the most nondescript teaser poster I've ever seen. I almost wonder if it was designed to be such, because the Dangervilles of the world are going to be doing 6-hour video essays going over every square centimeter of this thing.
Really, the only thing that like can really be drawn at the moment from this is that visually it looks like it'll have a similar sort of look to -1, which you could guess
for sure. But the thing is, as you brought up with Danny last month, the plot of this thing is being kept top secret. And I mean, I've gone on record. If you join the MIFE, no, I've released this part. I did release this part publicly, but I originally did a Patreon exclusive podcast talking with Matt Walsh, but not that Matt Walsh, about what a potential sequel to -1 could be. And I have no clue what exactly Yamazaki has planned. I can tell you what I would like to see him do that I think would be right up his alley, but I don't necessarily think that that's what I don't know. I have zero clue what we're getting.
Right. It's a little too early to tell right now.
Yeah.
We'll probably know a little bit more here in probably March or April.
Yeah. Or maybe do we even know if the cast from the first one is coming back? I forget.
Yes.
Not deliberately. They didn't intend to reveal it.
Well, not the whole cast, but 2 of the cast members.
Oopsie, little listing. Yeah, Kamiki and Hamabe are supposed to come back based on the listings. To be fair, Yamazaki had also talked about how if he was going to make a sequel, he'd be interested in like setting it, like seeing the characters like in the amount of time that had passed in the real world. So we'll probably see like a 3-issue time skip.
Yeah. My hot take about this is as much as I love Godzilla, I'm actually a lot more interested in following these characters that we had with such a great human cast in that one. And I think that their story is strong enough that you could just have Godzilla in this. You don't need another monster. I feel like throwing another monster in is just, it's the easy, predictable route to go. Now, if you're gonna throw another monster in there, I can tell you who I would be fine with them using. But I just want to see another really compelling story with these characters later on in their lives at a different but interesting moment in Japanese history. If it was me, I'd like to see them jump ahead 20 years and go to the 60s. You know, I think there's some interesting drama that can happen there, and then just have Godzilla come back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definite. We already know it's going to take place either in the 50s or the 40s again, based off of the little bit of footage from the set we have seen. I've always been supporting
Could be a
the
flashback.
idea. I doubt it, but I've always supported the idea of him kind of replicating his Always trilogy, where he followed those set of characters through time. As the time progressed, and I think that's exactly what he's doing here. Real quick, Vivinsky 3199 is in the chat. Just got back from my oldest son's first flag football game. Welcome. I hope
You must be
enjoyed
someplace
Japan.
that's a lot warmer than most of the country.
He asked, who thinks this poster is hinting at Mothra, Godzilla, and Hedorah, or King Ghidorah, Godzilla, or Hedorah?
I think it's very obvious with the blue. It's hinting at Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
I think the title Godzilla -0 hints at the big guy, but
well,
just
yeah.
me.
I'm sticking to my guns that I want it to be a solo film. I just want 2 back-to-back Godzilla solo films in the same continuity, and I just want
that would be cool. I was
Like I
always
said,
sold
like,
on the idea of like Anguirus as well. That's
yeah,
decent.
Anguirus is on my short list of monsters that I would be okay with them using. One, I want to see more of my spiky boy. 2, it could be something of an homage to Godzilla Raids again in that regard. Also, I do think Anguirus fits this universe. If they're going to do this. Something wilder like a Ghidorah or a Hedorah, I'm not sold on that.
The thing with something like Ghidorah for me as well is like we know the ride design, and I'm not a fan of that.
Right, that design sucks. I don't want that. Vivinsky says, I am personally rooting for Varen and Anguirus. I think both
That's
of those
so real.
would be
Yeah.
great picks.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, and I don't know, maybe somebody like a Yamazaki could pull this off, but I do think that the Monsterverse could have an amazing opportunity to utilize modern special effects technology with CGI. I do think you could really do some interesting things with Hedorah with CGI.
Yeah.
Making him look like he's constantly undulating and moving, like he really is this living mass that's just constantly moving and things like that. Yamazaki could probably pull that off if he, maybe got a little bit more money,
I mean,
I think they'll definitely give him a lot more money in this one.
I don't want.
I'm
Except I
expecting
hope
this to be the highest budget of the series.
I hope they don't give him too much more money, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's gonna.
I don't want them to overspend on this thing.
He is gonna say, like, I got you guys an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, and I got you more nominations than like any other movie in history. Right? It was the most for the Japan Academy Prize. Like -1 holds the record for most nominations.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah. I think
So
Shin Godzilla still technically made a slightly more money at the box office, though, right?
It made more money in Japan, but internationally, -1 is the highest grossing Japanese Godzilla film. It's not the highest attended, but it also is top 100 most attended films in Japanese history.
I was going to say, because I'm pretty sure that record still belongs to King Kong versus Godzilla, and I think it's going
It never
to be
will be.
I was going to say, it's
so real.
always going to hold on to that title. There is no way, short of some insane miracle, there's no way that's ever getting
There
done.
would have to be another pandemic that shuts down the world for 3 months, and then Japan somehow produced a Godzilla movie in that time frame and put the Godzilla movie out, and it was the only thing to see in theaters.
They make a Godzilla Demon Slayer movie.
I was gonna say the other way to do it, the other way you
Godzilla,
have
the
to do
moving
it. The other way
train.
you have to do it is that it has to be some sort of a crossover with another big property, because that was another reason why King Kong versus Godzilla did as well as it did, because it was a crazy crossover.
Right. Bavinsky also said, I'd love 2 Rodans and -0, but it's a hard stretch. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see a Rodan, but maybe just about that.
Yeah, like I said, I have a short list of other monsters I would be fine with, but I mean, I trust Yamazaki more than I do a lot of other people, most other people with a Godzilla story, but yeah, I would love to see the bold direction of it just being Godzilla with another really compelling story with these characters, because these characters can carry, I think, a trilogy of movies.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Now,
for me,
I think a cool thing to do would be to see like this entire family saga. You know, we can see the little girl grow up, you know, as the
Right.
movies progress, and see how these characters move through this very interesting time in Japanese history.
Right, yeah. -1 was a very impactful movie on me, particularly with the character of Shikishima. So I'm very excited to see his journey continue. I just pray if we get this movie and maybe someday we get a third film, Yamazaki, do not do what you did with Chigawa at the end of Always Free. Oh my god. And that's my piece.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. If nobody else has really anything else to say about this news, I guess we can go ahead and jump into anything that was left in the chat that I did not get. Edwin, I'm especially referring to you. There's a couple comments I want to circle back around to that you sent. And then we'll also open the floor for any questions anybody in the chat has. While we're waiting on those to come in, Ultra Cat like the Zerth concept art. Nathan, do you have a response?
I've not watched Ultra Nyan yet, but I think it's a little bit similar. It's a cute anime kind of thing. So it's not like an actual cat. It's like a cute anime cat, like more like, I think it's more like a Hello Kitty sort of a thing. It's an anime character who's also a cat. So I think it's more like that.
And then Nathan, you still need to read those comics, the MonsterVerse ones and the Justice League 2 crossover.
Yeah, I'm still trying to catch up on those. I've read some of the MonsterVerse comics. I think, which ones haven't I read? I've read what was the first one?
Aftershock.
I've read. Awakening, I think I've read.
Birth of Skull Island.
That one I haven't gotten to yet.
That's the Kong Skull Island crossover. You have Dominion, Kingdom Kong, The Hunted.
I haven't gotten to.
And oh my god, there's one other one.
Right? Return to Skull Island.
Return to Skull Island is the new one.
That's because it's a sequel to the stupid pseudo anime.
But I think there's one other like short story.
I mean, there's also like the declassified stuff too.
Yeah, the declassified short stories in that one short story in the Godzilla.
Oh yeah. I remember the hype that was going around with that, and it also got my attention a little bit because they did. I part of me wants to think that whoever worked on that comic listens to my podcast, because they stole a character name that my friend Damon came up with for the Film Vault. He plays a character on the Film Vault in the story segments who's a lawyer, and his name is Raymond Martin. And I thought that was an absolutely brilliant name that only like hardcore Godzilla fans are going to catch on to. And there's also a Raymond Martin in the declassified comic. Now, he spells the name differently than Damon's character, but still.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they stole fan ideas and didn't pay anybody and just took it and put it on merchandise.
Hey.
What is that?
The so-called namer of Titanus Doug. I'm okay with that.
I'll just leave that there.
Yeah.
Edwin also brings up, I think it'll be better if it's just Kong reacting to Godzilla's presence from a distance, like in King of the Monsters movie. He's seething, being reactive. I would like to see that. I just feel like the MonsterVerse is to a point where we are just stuck
Everything
with...
is just Godzilla and Kong together.
Yeah.
It's kind of tiring.
And then Edwin also says, "Will that be good commentary for being in character as multiple characters?"
I'm not 100% sure what he's referring to here.
I was a little late on bringing this comment up. It was about 15 minutes ago.
That was when I think that was when we were talking about -0 competing with Doomsday.
Yeah. And then Edwin also says Archie and Godzilla. And
that'll be King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah. And Bavinsky also agrees with us that the story has to rocket in terms of -0.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to leave the floor open for about 2 more minutes for any other questions. For the 2 other gentlemen in the chat, Nathan, I let you talk about King of the Tokyo. So I'm going to have Rex jump in, and then we'll go back to you. If there was any news that we did not tackle that you wanted to bring up.
I do have one small item of kind of old news, but I'll bring it up. Yeah.
Okay. Rex, go first.
Well, like the only thing I can really think of off the top of my head is like we talked about Gara earlier and the new show. They're promoting that, and it starts airing like next week on the 29th, I believe. So I'm excited for that. It should be getting simulcast. I think they just did an announcement yesterday for a YouTube upload. So presumably there'll be English subs.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully this time they're not AI generated subs. I have my doubts, but we'll see.
So will you be watching that as it airs?
I will be watching it, yes. I will be watching it.
Is Amemiya still involved with all of that?
I don't think he's involved with this current show.
Okay.
But he did direct the Tiger movie, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't he also like direct the first episode of the last show?
No, he wasn't really involved in the most recent that last show.
Gotcha. I could have swore I remember him being involved, and maybe it was the
Tiger. He's just like mentioned as like an executive producer on that last show.
I mean, it's his franchise, so that makes sense.
And then like Tiger was announced, and then like they removed the announcement and didn't talk about it for like 9 months.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you talking about that when I
thought it was dead. I low-key thought like Amemiya had like died or something, and they were like, "We can't do this." I'm like, "What has happened?"
Speaking of Taiga, I do know the Q&A from Anime NJ++ will be included on the Taiga Blu-ray. That's something that's been confirmed. So we're going to have new video content, that Q&A, the commentary, and a booklet along with the poster and slipcover.
Yeah.
And then, did you have anything else, Rex?
No, that's all for me.
And then Nathan, let's get our last bit of news, and then I think
all right, like I said, this news is a good several months old, but I don't really care. It's also admittedly a bit of shameless self-promotion, but that's what I do. But I was in a couple of anthologies published by Wild Hunt Press, both of which are kaiju focused. So this one right here is Attack of the Kaiju Volume 3, which is subtitled Giants on the Rampage. And I have a story in here that is called Codename Artemis. That is a mech versus kaiju story. Also has a psychic mom in it. Take a wild guess what inspired that. So, and I'm also proud of the fact that the mech in this story, which is why it's called Codename Artemis, is an archer, because I can't think of too many archer mechs, if any. But I am not the only one in here. There's a few other noteworthy names in here as well. We have Christopher Nigro, we have Skip Peel, Neil Reeby. Let me see, John LeMay. So there's a lot of noteworthy people in this. And then there was a companion anthology that was published called Reign of the Titans. This is the first volume for that, and it's subtitled Ragnarok Ellipses Now. And my contribution to this is actually a nonfiction piece. It is a very involved essay going over the original Marvel Godzilla comic run and all the subsequent appearances of the Marvel version of Godzilla, most of which were barely legal, before they got the license again with their newest run of comics. That went through multiple iterations and additions. And wow, yeah, Christopher Nigro and I worked long and hard on that. But there's some other noteworthy names in here as well. You got Christopher Nigro again, and you also have Andres Perez, and once again, John LeMay in this one. So these came out last fall. So thought I'd make everybody aware of these. So go check these out. If you're looking for, we didn't talk a lot about books in this, but if you're looking for kaiju literature, these are some good ones to check out. And there will be more volumes of both of these titles, I think, coming out later this year. I will more than likely be contributing to both of them in some form or another.
Well, Nathan, with that, I think we are going to transition into the outro with our shameless self-promotion.
Shameless self-promotion.
Before we do that, we do have two more comments. Vinsky said, seeing Hot Spring Shark Attack in the theater was a great treat in between -1 and -0, but I'm dying to see -0. The fact you saw Hot Spring Shark Attack in theaters, I am incredibly jealous of.
I didn't even know that played it anywhere.
Yes, it got shown for about a week in U.S. theaters, but it was over the weekend of G-Fest, which sucked because it was showing locally and I couldn't go see it or else. Rex, you and I both would have went and saw it. I would have been like, you and I are going to the theater. We're going to watch Hot Spring Shark Attack. I don't care.
Elijah, I see that next comment, and oh boy.
One more from Bavinsky. Elijah, when is Ron going to do Zillafoot 2? I would be game to have a bar fight in it with you. You can body slam me and win the fight. Oh my god.
What was your character's name again in the first one? Skywatcher. I think it was
Skywatcher number 2, also known as Fox.
I thought I gave him some funny sounding name. Like what did I call it? Like, it was like Luke Skywatcher or something like that.
I will say that Ron would be open to a Zillafoot 2. There's no script, as far as I'm aware. Maybe there is a script, but if there is a script, there will be a way.
I demand that Skywatcher number 2 come back and he become the hero of the movie.
He becomes Skywatcher number 1.
At one point,
he gets promoted and then has to become the hero of the entire movie. He's the guy who goes around and says, "We need Zillafoot. The world needs him."
At one point, I was supposed to do an end credit scene for Zillafoot, but I don't remember why we ended up not doing it. But that was in the cards for like a week during production, and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Zillafoot. What was the title that they teased in?
Hold on.
Zillafoot?
If you go to www.kaijuconversation.com/upcoming kaiju films all together, you will get a webpage of all of the upcoming kaiju content, which includes Zillafoot 2 with a subtitle of, there's so many movies, Rise of the Monsters.
What was it?
Rise of the Monsters.
Rise of the Monsters. That's what it was. I was going to say, sir, make that. Well, no, the other list needs to be a book, not necessarily that one. But yes, I'm just saying, Elijah Thomas as Luke Skywatcher
Oh my god.
in Zillafoot 2 Rise of the Monsters, and he's the big damn hero, I would watch that 10 times in a movie theater.
As a quick
I
aside,
will watch. You know what? I'm going to throw this out there right now. Ron, if you make Zillafoot 2 Rise of the Monsters starring Elijah Thomas as Luke Skywatcher, and release that theatrically, I will watch that more than Elijah Watch -1 in the theater.
that name
Nathan
Marchand.
Marchand single-handedly funding the next 5 SRS releases of Elijah's paycheck.
Oh my god. As a quick aside,
I will fund it, and then he will put all that money into making Zillafoot 3, and then I'm going to demand to be the star of that movie or something. I will find a way to make this very self-interested.
oh my god. As a quick aside, I failed to bring up there were a handful of other anime movies in some form of development. There was a a Gorgo animated movie announced by Titanic Creations. No updates have been since they announced it. And Ultraman Fallen, the sequel to Ultraman Rising, which I hope to God doesn't come. Don't know. Just kill it.
See, I wouldn't be against it if we lived in a just world where Shin Kamen Rider 2 comes out, you know? It'd be like
That's
a necessary evil.
Yeah. Also, there is Kaiju Decode: The Ring of Idara, which
Right.
That I want to see.
I don't know if it's even a movie. Maybe it's a game, or maybe it's like a one-shot manga. Who knows? It's a manga.
Another VR video. Maybe it'll be a VR movie.
I don't know.
Talking about it wounds a Luke Skywatcher over here.
Oh god. No. Talking about Ultraman Rising does that. I don't want Shannon Tyndall anywhere near Ultraman ever again.
Come
So
on,
help me
dude. There
God.
are worse things in the world.
Don't
than
you want to
Ultraman
see
Rising.
Gamora?
I have
on.
never walked out of a podcast recording in my life. And I literally had to walk out to calm down because the story of that is abysmal.
So what I'm hearing you say is that Shannon Tyndall and Adam Wingard need to collaborate on Godzilla Cross versus Kong Part 4 Electric Boogaloo.
No, they need to do an Ultraman and Godzilla crossover movie just to make me find a way to end.
Godzilla cross. God, I can see it now. Godzilla cross Kong cross Ultraman. Battle in the South Seas round 5. Directed by Adam Wingard, written by Shannon Tyndall. Just to kill Elijah Thomas.
For Zillafoot 2, can we have a scene of Elijah Thomas body slamming Adam Wingard?
I will watch it 50 times if they do that. And then we obviously, Rex, we got to put you in there as the plucky sidekick. I mean, like, this is how this works.
I'm just gonna eat popcorn off the side and just watch.
You can be Takumi Saito in movies. You have the hair, it works.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know my hair was as good as his, but thank you.
I'm just saying, come on. Like, Zillafoot 2 Rise of the Monsters with Luke Skywatcher and his plucky psyche. It's like a buddy cop movie, but they're going after schlocky kaiju. It'll be great.
Nathan, do your plugs.
Especially
the one that goes into your mouth.
Yeah, Elijah's just like, this stream needs to end now if I want to live and still have friends. Anyway, I am Nathan J.S. Marchand, as Elijah explained earlier. if you want to check out my writing, as I was plugging the books, check out my author website, nathanjsmarchand.com, where you can keep up with all of that stuff. And because this was another book that is relevant to what we're talking about here with the shameless self-promotion. Last month, I released a new book. This is not Kaiju related, but this is my latest book. This is a collection of short stories. It's called The Worlds of Nathan Marchand, Volume 2, Tales of the Lost and Lonely. And I absolutely love this cover. My sister took this picture and then did some masterful editing on it. And that is actually a cape that I own. It's for a Superman costume. So these are all, mostly literary short stories. One is implicitly time travel, but, and one's basically a crime. Well, a couple of them are kind of crime thrillers, but for the most part, it's not fantasy or science fiction. And, these stories all span my entire writing career. I needed to give these stories a home, so I finally gave them a home. And then check out my Kaiju podcast that Elijah has graciously guest starred on several times, including in an upcoming episode on Terror of Mechagodzilla, because that was the first Godzilla movie for both of us.
True.
So we just keep finding out more, and we share more and more in common than I thought. We had the same first Godzilla movie. We have the same birthday. Like, it's kind of crazy. So, check that out. So that is a podcast seeking entertainment and enlightenment through tokusatsu. It's film appreciation. And much like you will hear on Kaiju Conversation, there's a ton of research that I do that goes into this to put the movies in their proper context. I also have a Henshin Hero TV podcast called Henshin Power V3, where three friends have 3 minutes to talk about tokusatsu. So we go over 5 to 10 episodes of TV, but our little gimmick that I will admit we borrowed from a now defunct podcast, we only have 3 minutes to talk about each one. So it's very fast paced. And so far, unfortunately, we've been struggling in production for that show. So yeah, I know all about recording a ton of episodes and they're not out yet. But so far we've gone over Kamen Rider V3 and the original Ultraman, and we will soon have episodes on Kamen Rider Phase and the Guyver animes, because the Guyver is a Henshin hero.
I love Guyver.
Yeah. Well, you might get a little upset with us. We ended up having very strong opinions about the animes.
Oh no.
Oh, boyser. Yeah, and hopefully by summer we will be starting season 2. We have our selections for season 2 picked out. The only one I will reveal, because we've already talked about it somewhat on the show, is we will be launching it with Mirai Sentai Time Ranger. So we're getting our first Sentai series on that one, filling in a gap from my time on the Power Trip. So yeah, and also, if anyone wants to listen to any of my older podcasts that are no longer uploading, check out the Power Trip, which is a Power Rangers podcast I did with our friend Michael Hamilton. Some of my best podcast work, I think, honestly. And also Henshin Men, which was the predecessor to Henshin Power V3. I'm also a member of the stable of actors at Scyther Podcast, so you can hear me on their high-quality fan-produced audio dramas, such as Rito on Power Rangers, the audio drama. Of all people, Deadpool on X-Men, the audio drama. And Johnny Storm, baby, on Avengers, the audio drama, whenever the Avengers cross over with the Fantastic Four. It's all the important stuff.
Well, I will interject here. Hello, I'm Elijah, and I have a Kaiju and Tokusatsu problem. Joking aside, I am Elijah Thomas. I am a writer. I've written for GodzillaMovies.com, Kaiju Ramen Magazine, Kaiju United, and my writing has also been featured in the book Giant Bug Cinema, A Monster Kid's Guide from Bear Manor Media, where I wrote about Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. I also contributed the foreword for the book G Cinema, an exploration and celebration to Japan's Monster King by Daniel DeManna from Fonthill Media, the same Daniel, I'm going to call him Danny from now on, who did the vocals for our theme song. More on that later. I've also been given the privilege to work with my good friends at Giant Monster BS on their second season as a creative consultant, covering independent kaiju films. Outside of writing and podcasting, I also served as a consultant on the Titanic Creations Yongari figure. I believe it is sold out now, but you can still head over to titanicreations.com to check it out yourself. I am a bonus feature producer for SRS Cinema, working on various titles such as Yuzo, The Biggest Battle in Tokyo, Hoshi 35, Outer Man, and the upcoming Brush of the God, along with various other titles. My list is about a dozen now. You can order all of these Blu-rays on srscinema.com or DVDs from any major online retailer. As I can now talk about it, I'm also happy to say I was commissioned by Umbrella Entertainment to produce an audio commentary for the cult hit J-horror film Uzumaki, which is available on a Region B Blu-ray on Umbrella's website. I'm also a filmmaker and YouTuber. You can check out my stuff on my YouTube channel at ET13 Productions, where you can see some of my short films and older YouTube videos, along with an ever-growing playlist that features all of my appearances on YouTube. I think it's a little out of date, but I'll get that fixed eventually. You can also check out my action figure photography on my Instagram at ET13_productions and my X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Thanks, Danny. At the same handle. Now, Rex, where can people find you at?
Well, dear listeners, you can find me on YouTube at RexXeno, on Twitter at Rex_Xenomorph, and on Instagram, Rex_Xeno.
And I
And if
can't
you
confirm the Yongari figure sold out.
There we go. And if you want to check out my writing,
Hmm?
and if you want to check out my writing, go
Oh,
to
yeah. And if you want to check out my writing, go to the Tokusatsu Network. I mean, I don't really say that on the show anymore, you know?
or that Kaiju blog on Word.
Oh dear God. Oh dear God. You're a demon.
As for the podcast, don't forget to rate us on iTunes. That boosts our ratings and helps us get recommended to more people just like you. If you don't have an Apple device, which I don't blame you, I don't. That's an outright lie. I'm literally using a MacBook, but you can rate us on Spotify. If you want to stay up to date with all things Kaiju Conversation related, follow us on Twitter at KAIJU_CONVERS. If you don't have Twitter, you can follow us on Instagram or like us on Facebook. If you're like me before podcasting and you don't have any social media, lucky you. You can email us at kaijuconversation@gmail.com, all lowercase, all one word. You know the drill. And as always, we'll read your reviews on air for everyone to hear. We also have a Teespring store. Eventually, we'll have something on there, but until then, you can sport our awesome logo on a t-shirt or maybe even a coffee mug. If you'd like to chat with us, check out our Discord server full of others that have similar interests to you. It's a great community full of great people. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the bell so you can be notified anytime we upload a video. We sometimes post exclusives to the channel, like bloopers for episodes or minisodes talking about news or other subjects. And we do these live streams once a month. A huge thanks to Rex for editing all of the episodes and all the other content we upload. His links can be found in our description. Along with Rex, we'd like to give a huge thanks and shout out to Danny DeManna of the Godzilla Novelization Project for his amazing vocals on our theme song. You can support him by following him on Twitter at Danzilla93_GNP or visit his website, GodzillaNovelizationProject.com. And a huge thanks to Grattan Conwell from the podcast Giant Monster BS for composing the music for our theme song. You can support him by following the podcast on Twitter at Giant Monster BS or on any podcast platform under the name Giant Monster BS. And with that, we're going to wrap up this live stream. Thank you so much, Nathan, for coming on to help make this show what it was today. It's been a lot of fun to have you on.
Thank you, Nathan.
Rex,
Pleasure finally
be back.
podcasting with you properly.
Yes, finally. I need to get both of you on the Film Vault at some point. And, you know, if you ever want to have me on again, just send me an invitation and I'll be there.
Sweet. Rex, thank you for coming on a little bit early. Definitely a different recording time for you than normal, but I've always wanted to do streams with you, and I'm glad we could do this together. So thank you all.
Yeah.
And
I have one quick
special thanks to
question.
my housemate for shutting off the internet midway through this.
There you go. I do have one quick question because this was the conversation that Elijah and I started with. What's the weather like for you right now?
Oh God, it's like 60 degrees Celsius
It's like
and
cloudy.
sunny.
It's usually sunny, but it's been a bit cloudy recently. But
That was
yeah, it is grueling hot. While I was waiting for the internet to turn back on, I'm like thankful that I had the opportunity to turn the aircon back on after he also turned that off.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
'Cause I was
reason for the
boiling
beanie, the
alive
reason for the
during
yeah,
the first
the
half of this.
which is the polar opposite because that I'm wearing the beanie because it is frigid here in Indiana.
I wish.
No, you
Bro.
wouldn't
No,
be able to survive.
dude, we're talking
Bro.
single digit Fahrenheit. Okay, you don't want that.
See, it's great. I don't know what that means. Like single digit Fahrenheit. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that feels like. So I have no.
Well,
I don't care.
0 degrees Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and we have
I'll just steal
single
my other
digit
housemates'
temperatures in
clothes from
Fahrenheit.
Russia. I'll
What?
just steal all his winter clothes. I'll just steal my housemates' winter clothes. It's okay.
Yeah, there
Correct.
you
It's negative 16 degrees Celsius for you where I'm at.
go.
Yeah, what does that even feel like? I've never been below like 7 Celsius.
So imagine your body getting attacked by a cold shower, and instead of you being able to like leave the shower and like dry off, it's just this stale feeling of unwetness, and you're just always attacking the fact that you are about to die of frigid air.
Yeah,
And
eventually you will get your face will get so numb, someone could punch you and
you wouldn't feel it.
it.
That's awesome.
You should come stay with me around this time.
I would love to experience winter time and it snow at least once in my life. Yes.
I don't know. The lights are out outside, but it's supposed to snow tonight, so maybe it will.
Nice.
So
You
thank
poor
you all
deprived
so much.
child, no snow.
Never seen it. Never touched it. Never felt it. Don't know what it is.
Again,
Not
poor
convinced
deprived
it's real.
child.
But
It
with
could just be a
that,
conspiracy.
maybe it is like birds.
Yeah, I saw a bird.
No, you didn't. They're drones from the government. But with that, I think that's a great note to end this on. So thank you all again for joining me. Thank you to everybody in the chat who has commented. Thank you to everybody who has watched or will be watching the VOD. Thank you to everybody who's listening to the podcast version. My name is Elijah Thomas, Rex, and Nathan Marchand. And the last thing that all of you listeners need to know is life's too short to not talk big. Bye, guys.
Bye.